We're approaching spooky season.
We're in it.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Are you excited for Halloween?
No.
No?
Oh, yeah, kind of. I got a costume for my sister's party and
Ooh, what
work.
are you going to do? What are you going to be?
Well, since I probably won't see you between...
Yeah. So what's it going to be? What are you?
I'm a grumpy Care Bear.
That's perfect.
So this is a onesie situation with face paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not dressing up. I never do.
No, you don't.
I have 2 costumes in my closet. Well, one of 2 costumes. They're the same shirt. Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. I kept ordering those houndtooth shirts from Amazon, and both companies that sells them on Amazon, they're Chinese sizes. So I bought like 2X in one, and it was...
And that's like a medium?
It was a large,
Yeah.
And then I bought a 3X, and it was an extra large. So I just gave up, and maybe one day I'll be small enough to wear it.
Welcome to our show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things, TV shows and movies and some random swearing. This is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Deadbeat Chad. With me is Chucky Sleaze
Hi.
and perpetual special guest, Jess Moon.
Yeah. I think my name should get longer each time. It's not obnoxious enough.
It's the dumbest name.
No. In this group, are you out of your fucking
You
mind?
told me I refuse to have a stupid nickname,
I
and then
do.
this is what you picked.
Well, that's what you did to me.
You
You
could have
did
picked
this.
anything else, but here you are. Perpetual special guest, Jess.
Yep.
And today we are discussing a Wes Craven film,
It's The People Under the Stairs.
The People Under the Stairs.
I love this movie. It's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
It's one of those movies where it's like, this should be a horror, but it's not. But it's also not like a psychological drama. It's not, I mean, it's not a blaxploitation, but it tries to be. It's kind of all over the place. It's struggling really hard to find an identity in a genre.
I think it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
Look, this would go right alongside like Nothing But Trouble.
It's a booby trap movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Like watching this, like
Yeah.
the way the house is laid out and how it's got booby traps and shit. I was like, this is the
Throw it in there with Goonies and
Home Alone.
Home Alone for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like Wes Craven's Home Alone.
Yeah, you watch this one at Halloween, and then when Christmas rolls around, you watch Home Alone.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's elements of a lot of different
Nothing
things.
but trouble too. With the weird
And I mean, it
inside
does
walls situation.
it does like have its own identity, but it just doesn't have an identity inside of a genre.
No, I mean, I don't think there's anything else out there quite like it, because even the booby trap movies, I mean, how many of them have the BDSM incest angle
Right.
mixed with the ghetto and rap?
But it's
and
like
eviction?
it's such like a nothing part of it, but it's so in your face too, and you just can't
What,
ignore it.
the
But it's
BDSM
not even.
incest?
Yes, you can't ignore it, but it's also not part of the
Oh.
plot, which you would think that BDSM incest in a movie would absolutely
Well,
be
I mean,
part of the
really,
plot.
I mean, he just kind of dresses in his gimp outfit, and they call each other mommy and daddy. And
Why?
they steal children because it's their
Why is that
life.
necessary?
Who fucking knows? I don't care.
I think these characters were written to be very different, and they had to tone it down.
Oh, like way more.
Because this is a rated R movie for the gore, basically, and the violence. And I think that they went
It's
a little
not
too...
overly gory or overly violent, really.
Well, I mean,
it's
they-
got moments.
There's like a
There's a
scene where
butcher
they...
scene
Right,
where
there's a
they're
whole-
I guess
taking
that's
Vin
true.
Rings
Dude,
apart.
Ving Rhames is missing his chest
Yeah,
at one point.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it does get pretty gory, but it's
I'm
not.
very desensitized to I forget about that kind of stuff. To
When
be honest, I don't know.
Roach is using Ving as a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into Roach.
It looked like
eventually.
a Guar show.
Roach is one of those guys that
my
like
favorite part of the movie. I love
every single middle school in America had a kid like this,
Yeah,
where
with
he
his
just
tongue cut
his
out.
smile was too big, he had too much gum,
Well,
and he was always smiling. Like, what are you fucking smiling
I
about
think
all the
he-
goddamn
well,
time?
I think with him, he's excited to see someone different who's not actively trying to kill him. And I think it is
Even
that,
when he's being like hunted,
well,
he's
yeah,
smiling.
I think it's that almost like feral child type thing. You know how monkeys show their teeth like to show aggression and shit like that? I think he
dude,
does.
that is a stretch.
Well, I don't know.
All
I don't
he
think he knows
does-
how to human.
All he does is pester mommy and daddy.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
so,
he's just-
so
yeah.
he's perpetually happy about pissing them off.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
he's a little chaos gremlin.
I know.
That's exactly what he is. But like at the
That's why
same
he's the
time,
best part.
even during his death scene, he's like smiling, and I'm like, but why? Why are you doing that? Why are you just like completely oblivious to danger at all?
I think he doesn't know what else to do.
It's
Because we
Look,
assume he's been in there, and all of them have been in there since they were babies.
well, yeah. And you
So-
told me that this is your favorite character in the movie,
Yeah.
and I kind of agree.
I like
Although
Roach. He's
the
funny.
main character Fool,
Fool's
he's a good part of it
Fool
too. I
does a
think he
good
did a
job.
great job.
I'm on team daddy.
you would be.
He does look like he's having a lot of fun in this.
Well, yeah. Well, and even while we were watching it, when it comes to Mommy, I was like, this must have been so fun to play, like as a character. Because when towards the end of the movie, when she's chasing Alice through the house with the knife and just screaming like a fucking banshee, I
She's
was like,
channeling her
that was
mommy
fun.
dearest.
yeah, no,
She's-
very much so, yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
this is a very much one of those characters.
And it would be fun to do, I think. Just be so fucking weird and sadistic and then just unhinged.
Yeah, just insane,
Yeah.
out of your mind,
Just- I
crazy.
think everybody has that moment
But
where
also,
you would love
like-
to just kind of go, "Wah!"
Well,
like,
and also
run.
they're both like apparently they're both super religious because they're constantly
Yes.
talking about burn in hell this, burn in hell
Yes.
that, but at the same time, one of them dresses like a gimp all the time.
Yeah.
They are brother and sister. They are not married. They are not.
They're brother and sister, mommy and daddy.
We don't know if they're
the whole
dating
family.
or if they're.
She makes him put on the suit.
Yes, she does.
Because at one
doesn't-
point you
yeah.
hear her scream, "Get in there and put on the suit!"
Yeah,
And
that
she
that
calls
is.
him bad boy at some point, and she's like, "You bad boy, don't never shoot your gun outside."
But they're brother and sister.
yes, this is what money does. That's the moral of this movie.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that money hoard too because I got things to say about that.
Well, they
but-
say, yeah, like this is a generational thing that the richer they got, the crazier they got.
right.
That's what Booker says.
It's-
Old man Booker at one point.
You could also like compare that a little bit to like dragon sickness.
I was about to say
Lord of the
that.
Rings. Yeah.
Or like that guy from the first DuckTales cartoon. Remember the guy that was chasing around Scrooge?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold Fever or whatever.
What the hell was
Yeah.
his name? I don't know. Anyways, but,
It was probably something racist because he was supposed to be like Spanish or something like that.
oh yeah. Well, and speaking of racist, yeah, just be aware. This
Well-
movie definitely drops the N word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That kind of hit me
Well,
because
but
I'm not
it
used to
also
that.
at the same time that really speaks to their character too. They don't see the people
Right.
like because they're also the landlords, right? So,
But it
like, they
also
don't see them as people.
it also comes
don't
off as
care.
like I don't really feel like they're inherently racist people. I think they're saying it because they know it's like it'll either get under their skin.
Yeah, but they say it when they're not there.
That's what
like
I'm
at
saying.
the very
Just to each
beginning in
other.
that first scene.
Yeah,
they say
yeah, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes,
I just
really
felt
do
it was
think
like one of
is
those
that
things.
They see them as a different level of person.
Oh my God, what are on your feet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad. I recorded.
Literally the episode after you mentioned these, she bought these.
I did. So, well, I haven't seen you in a while, Chucky. Y'all were talking mad shit about Crocs the last time we were all together.
I was not talking
You
mad
absolutely
shit.
were. But go listen to the episode. Yes, you were. So, and then I went to the mall with the kiddo and they were on sale. And I was like, you know what? Actually, fuck both of you. I've always wanted some and I never did because Chad like talks shit about Crocs all the time. And I decided I don't fucking care. So
Obviously.
yeah, they're comfortable. I've got all these little charms in them that has like One Piece and Studio Ghibli and Animal Crossing, and they make me happy in this shitty world. So I'm going to wear my bright yellow Crocs, and y'all can both suck my dick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's fun and fine.
Yeah, I don't care what
about
either of you think. But yes.
I don't hate them. They're fine.
Cool.
Anyways.
Your opinion does not matter in this. They are awesome. Are they ugly? Yes. Do they make me happy? Also yes.
They're comfortable.
Back to the movie.
All right, so let's run this down. I don't know how you managed to get 3 pages worth
Front and back
of notes for this movie, because there really is not a whole lot going on
what
here.
What are you talking about?
It just like it seems like other movies that we've covered on this have like scene after scene. There's so much going on, but this movie just felt like a slow burn to start.
There's a lot of action that happens in quick succession, so I have to like write it all down.
Right.
I think that
this was like the first time where I had to like pause so you could catch up, because that normally doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, that clearly there's a lot going on that I missed, or just it didn't feel like there was a whole lot going on. But so the setup to this movie is that we're following a family. I guess we should start with the opening credits. Where is it the mom or the sister that's reading?
Sister Ruby. The
Right.
mom is like dying in bed.
Okay, so our main character is being read his fortune through tarot cards.
Yeah.
And then she's explaining what the Fool card is, and that's very much his character in the movie.
Which I like because she gives an accurate representation.
Yes, it is an accurate
as far as like the
depiction
meaning of the different
yes.
tarot cards. Yeah.
And you know that's how we learn how he gets his nickname. You know, his name is Poindexter, which okay,
yeah, but everyone calls him Fool.
Yes, everyone calls him Fool.
Yeah.
Because of his tarot reading and the card that he keeps getting, which is the Fool.
Yeah.
So then we cut to him talking to his mother, and we're finding out that they're about to lose their home.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford rent, and the landlords now want 3 times the rent in order for them to stay, because in reality, they're the last family living in this building, and they want to demolish it so they can build a newer building.
Even though when Fool comes on later, there are people fucking everywhere.
Oh yeah, they're
inside that building. I guess they don't live there.
This is ridiculous too, because I mean, this is like a caricature of like the ghetto, right?
Well, it's intentionally done.
Right. So when he's coming home and he's trying to get up the stairs, and there's like 50 crackheads doing drugs on the stairway, and they're
all shouting at him, "Hey!"
But they don't live there. I think they're just
like
homeless.
Squatting or something.
Yeah, I think they're just homeless, and that's where they go to do drugs and hang out all day. But so they're going to lose their house, their apartment, whatever, to the landlords because they can't afford it. And then we meet Leroy, who is Ving Rhames. But what is his role here? Is he just like a friend of the family? Is he dating the sister Ruby?
I don't know if he's actually dating Ruby, because he kind of flirts with her a little bit.
But he also mentions that she's like turning tricks, so maybe he's like her pimp or something.
I don't think so.
It's really vague as to what his role is in this.
He's kind of general criminal friend of the family.
Right, yes. He just kind of hangs out there, and he's trying to explain to Fool that, like, hey, man, you can't come up with this money. They can't come up with this money. This money's got to come from somewhere. So here's the deal. We're going to steal the money from the landlords because...
He's not a friend of the family. He's a scumbag who says that he's his sister's friend. And then after he introduces himself, he explains he needs somebody to help him on a job.
Yeah.
And then drops the news to the kid that your mom has cancer and uses that to recruit the kid. He's just an opportunist.
No, absolutely.
And he sees some vulnerable people that he can talk into lashing out at the people that have made them so vulnerable. So
because he's heard a rumor that the landlords in their home, they have a stash of gold coins.
Right.
So their goal here is they're going to rob them, snatch the coins, and then sell those to get the rent money and then cure his mother's cancer.
I bet you if it had worked out, Leroy wouldn't have given them anything. He would have gone off with the gold.
Do you think so? I think that
maybe a little bit.
Spencer, the third man on this job, would have done that.
Honestly,
I mean,
I don't know.
even Leroy was worried
Well,
that was what he was going to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think if any of them would have gotten the money by themselves, they would have taken it, excluding Fool, of course.
Yeah.
There
But
was too much money there for one person to take. You know what I mean?
Nah. I mean, there was a lot, but I don't know.
Did you notice those gold coins too? They were the same kind that you'd see on infomercials in the 90s with the Lady Liberty standing there.
Yeah, it was just, it was very generic looking.
Yeah.
But
I do think the first time we see Daddy, when we find out he's the landlord at the very beginning, before any of this conversation happens, it just occurred to me because he's sitting there in front of a fireplace and Mommy's talking. And I hate that I have to call them Mommy and Daddy. I hate those fucking terms, but they literally don't have other names.
That's literally their name in the movie. Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Mommy and Daddy.
Mommy and Daddy. Like he's sitting there eating and she's talking about how they have one family left in that building and they're going to bulldoze it and put up, office buildings and more money.
Right.
Well, anyways, he's eating and he takes buckshot out of his mouth and he's like, pull it. And he's got a little bowl like full of buckshot.
Yeah.
So he's eating a person.
Yeah. Yes. But you don't know that. You assume he's a hunter and he just killed
like
a deer or something.
Yeah.
But yes, he is a cannibal.
I've seen that movie so many times and I just realized
we don't find out he's a cannibal until later after he's killed somebody and then he's eating them in front of the people under the stairs, which are just the people in the cellar.
Yes. Yeah.
They're not really under stairs.
Well, they are. They come through the stairs at one point. They're in the cellar, which is under the stairs.
They're in like like the cellar has like 2 rooms. It's like a main room and then there's a place where they're locked up.
Yeah.
Like a cell.
Yeah.
But it's not under the stairway. The stairway is like in the entrance to the cellar. But anyways,
didn't that Harry Potter kid live under stairs?
Yes.
Harry Potter, yes.
Yeah. The main character in that book.
It was the cupboard under the stairs.
What?
Yeah. That was
because it's British.
Don't make me go into Harry Potter shit. That was the address on his fucking letter. Yes, was the cupboard under the stairs.
So their plan here is, again, to steal from the landlords.
Yeah.
Leroy needs Fool to help him out because the plan is they need to run retcon, right? They need to know what's inside the house. So they need one of them to go in so they can see where they have security, where the layout of the place. If they can possibly figure out where the gold is being hid.
Yeah, if there's any alarms.
If there's a safe, where the alarms are. Are there bars on the windows? Are they locked?
And they know there's treasure in there because Leroy found a treasure map in the back of the liquor store when he was robbing it.
Yes, because the landlords also own the liquor store.
Yeah.
Their address is on the building that they are living in and then also the liquor store.
And the eviction notice. So they know.
So they know it's all tied to the same people. Right. And then there is some kind of a map to their treasure.
Yeah, he says treasure map.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
But anyways, so now they're going to go steal this gold to pay the rent and get the mother her cancer treatments.
Yeah. Ruby warns them. Well, Ruby warns Leroy to not only leave Fool alone, but don't go. And I've heard bad things about that house. Don't go in that house.
Yeah, like a bad omen type thing. And I mean, she's superstitious.
And she's heard things about that fucking house that people go in and don't come out. And it's fine. They're weird.
And
they are weird people.
She is correct.
She is correct.
So now we've got Leroy and this, Fool, and then this guy named Spencer, who's their driver, right? He's driving them in their van. They got Fool dressed up like a Boy Scout, selling cookies. And the goal here is to drop him off at the house so he can go knock on the doors, A, see if they're home,
right?
And B, if they are, see if he could get into the home somehow. Maybe, hey, you want to buy some cookies? Can I come in and sell them to you? Or failing that, the backup plan is to tell them that he needs to use the restroom. So he goes up to the door, he's knocking, no one's answering. He runs around to the back, he knocks on the back door, no one's answering. He's looking around, he sees that the backyard has windows that are
they're padlocked on the outside.
And padlocked. And then he sees a pond, which comes into play later, like a little pond in the backyard. And then while he's messing around with the pond, mommy answers the door and asks if she can help him. And he's like, hey, I'm selling cookies. You want to buy some? No, we watch what we eat around here. We're not going to buy any of your cookies. And he's like, well, I really got to use the bathroom. Can I come in? And she's like, no, go away.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah. So that didn't work. He goes back to the van.
Well, that's all right.
Yes,
That's okay.
Yeah, he's
As
very
he's
apologetic.
peeking through the window.
Yeah.
Well, and I failed to mention, this is also his 13th birthday.
It is his 13th birthday. Yeah.
So it is his fucking birthday right now.
Yeah,
And they've got him running retcon on this house, and he just doesn't want to be there anyway. So I think that's like him just...
Now he knows his mom is dying of cancer, so he's like, I have to save my, you know.
It's his birthday, and he finds out his mom has cancer on his birthday. Like, you guys could have done this any other time, but not today.
Well, but they're going to get evicted at midnight tomorrow, so like it's
but then they're also
Man,
like,
this is so much like the Goonies.
but
They're getting evicted in the Goonies. They find the treasure map in the Goonies. Sorry.
No, it is. I mean,
in the ghetto.
The house
It
has
is
contraptions and
ghetto
shit,
Goonies.
just like in the Goonies. But also, it's kind of weird too because they're supposed to be evicted by midnight the next day, but then they're in the van talking about they're going to come back on Sunday.
They were going to come back on Sunday, but then I mean, it all does happen that day into the next day.
Right.
Like the movie takes place over like 48 hours, basically.
Yeah. Anyways, the Boy Scout angle didn't work, so now they're back in the van, and Spencer, their driver, is like, watch how a pro does it. So he dresses up like an electrician.
The gas company.
Oh, yeah. A gas man.
Yeah.
He's got a clipboard and his fucking like uniform and everything, and he walks up and knocks on the door. Does he knock or does she just answer? I think she just comes out.
He knocks on the door. He rings the bell at the back.
Okay.
It's the scene from Home Alone. It's Joe Pesci on the front porch.
Yeah.
And instead of a shiny tooth, he's got the skull ring.
Yes.
It's also the exact same thing they did in 101 Dalmatians, where Horace and Jasper go up to the house and literally say they're from the gas company and then come in and steal the puppies.
I'll take your word on that. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Well, I'm here to tell you.
But yeah, he's
that's what Wes Craven is famous for, is just stealing
ideas.
I mean, Scream, the whole fucking movie is stealing from other movies.
I didn't care for Scream.
No, I hate Scream.
I didn't like the franchise at all.
Sorry.
I know a lot of people
remove that from the podcast.
I'm ambivalent.
No, it's fine. I think people like Ghostface more than they like the movies.
I think they like dressing up as Ghostface.
Yeah,
running around.
I see it all the time on social media. People love. Oh yeah, yes, especially this time of year. You kidding me? Everybody loves Ghostface. But anyways, he's pretending to be a gas man, and he's telling her that he needs to check their gas meter. And she's like, well, you just passed it on your way up the driveway. And he's like, well, no, I need to check the one in the house. She's like, there's not one in the house. I'm sure of it. And he looks at his clipboard and he's like, no, ma'am, it says on my paperwork here that you guys have a gas meter inside the home.
And like, we have the legal right to come in, so we can either do it this way or I can
either come in and look at it, or if I have to, I can call the police, although we've never had to do that, and smiles at her. And that's when she sees the ring on his hand, and she's like, something's wrong with this guy. But she also knows that, like, she's just going to kill him anyway.
Yeah.
So she lets him inside, and you've got Fool and Leroy in the van, parked outside, and they're watching the house, and then she leaves in the car by herself. And they're like, what the fuck's going on here? Why did she just... No, there's got to be somebody else in this house. They didn't just leave Spencer in there by himself.
They wouldn't even let Fool in to pee earlier. She wouldn't. So there's no fucking way she left the house with Spencer inside. Right. They know, like, whoa.
So now they got to go check this out. And they go up there. They get in the house.
There is a doll on the ground in a mousetrap as soon as they get in the back door.
Yeah, the dolls kind of come into play. It's kind of a quick little thing, and you find out because they have a daughter named Alice.
Yeah.
That makes dolls because she's a shut-in. They don't let her go anywhere.
She's never been outside.
Right. She's never seen sunlight, I guess. Whatever.
Well,
but
not since they stole her when she was a baby. At the time, you don't know thinks that she's their daughter. But.
You don't know that she's been kidnapped at this point. Yeah, she has been raised to believe that they are the daughter and that they are a husband and wife, and that they are her parents.
Yeah, we met her earlier in the movie. We just skipped over it.
When?
right here. So it just, after Ruby tells Leroy to not go to the house, so she heard bad things, Fool goes in and talks to his mom, and she's like, take care of the kids, okay? And she's just fucking sick as hell, and he's like, I will, mama. And then it cuts to Mommy and Alice, and Mommy made her a new dress, and so she goes up and she gives her a dress, and you see just how Mommy Dearest this bitch is, because she like shoves it on.
Have you been licking this?
Yeah.
She's gesturing towards the plate.
Yeah, and then she's like, where's your fork? And she's like, and Alice starts freaking out. It's got to be on the floor somewhere.
Yeah,
and then
anytime
this hand comes out of the wall. It's Roach, but you don't know that yet. With long ass nails, and gives her the fork. And Mommy's talking about how she's a bad girl. And
anytime Mommy starts getting a little combative or a little, high strung, like Alice gets the deer in the headlights look, and she gets frightened and afraid because clearly she's being abused.
Yeah, and then Daddy comes in and he's talking about like people. I said people robbed the liquor store. That's not what he says.
Oh, yeah.
But, and he's feeling tense, and Mommy's like, well, Alice was bad. She's been feeding the thing in the walls again. Don't bruise her face.
Right. So
and
now
we're
aware that there are things in the walls that are people-esque.
And they beat the shit out of Alice, but don't bruise her face.
Right. So already this family is a little fucked. Yeah. To say the least.
Yeah. They get in the back door, and there's this huge metal fucking door that like separates like the entrance in the back, like the mudroom or something, like from the kitchen.
Right.
And they're like, what the fuck?
I assumed it was like a laundry room or something.
Something like that.
But yeah, and Leroy's got a crowbar, so he's crowbars open the door, and then immediately like everything in this house, this thing locks down like it's fucking Fort Knox or something.
Yeah.
As
soon as the door opens, like the thing like slides down like the windows and all of that. It does. It can shut down like shutters and all of that shit.
Yes.
Like some House on Haunted Hill shit. Just like done.
like it's the goddamn Pentagon or something.
Yeah.
But so yeah, he's got the door open.
Yeah, and then they meet a puppy.
They do. Immediately there's a dog.
Puppers.
Named Prince.
Yeah.
That leaps up. And this is one of those things in movies that I don't like, because the reality here is if there was a dog like that, a protective dog in the house, like as soon as they were like snooping around outside, that thing would have been barking his ass off.
Yeah.
But he waited until they came in.
Silently.
Yes.
I do wonder if they trained him to do that though, because then he can go in for the kill. So then they, like.
Yeah, but then the house seems to somehow be like soundproofed.
Yeah.
Because
gunshots,
all those gunshots all the time.
Well, and at one point, Fool's like up banging on the windows to when the police are there and they can't see him or they can't hear him.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It probably is some kind of soundproof.
Maybe that is what it is. So
that's what Wes expects you to believe. There's a lot of things in this movie that he just
suspend your disbelief.
that he just throws out an answer to, and you're like, well. Okay,
sure.
I guess.
Honestly, my personal opinion on this is that it was an excuse for a jump scare.
Sure.
That's all that was,
but
really.
Yeah, he's a Rottweiler.
Yeah. And honestly, he's kind of a good boy.
He's a good boy. It's not his fault, okay? He was trained to do that. But a lot of the time, and something I noticed, like, while we were watching it, I was like, he never attacks Fool. He doesn't go for the children.
No.
He goes after, he waits. Like, there's one point a little later on, he, like, trots into the room and just kind of looks at Fool like a good boy, and then sees Leroy. Leroy pops up behind the couch, and he's like, ah, and then, like, goes for him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did... Also, like, later on, whenever, Fool and Roach are, like, running from Prince... Again, I think it's because Prince is going after Roach.
He does, like,
not Fool.
Maybe. He does, like, get Fool down on the ground at one point and is trying to get him, but nothing ever happens, and you're going to make me believe. Like, Fool is a small 13, right? He does not look
this
13.
Dog overpowers Ving Rhames.
Yeah,
and he
Fool's
can't
like,
handle...
No,
he can't handle a fucking, like, 70-pound child?
Yeah.
But... Yeah, so now they've broken into the house. You've got Prince coming after them.
Yeah, man, he attacks Leroy, but they get away, and they, like...
The dumbest line in the movie is during this scene.
Oh?
Where Fool is telling him, he's like, what do you say? Your mama sleeps with cats? Or?
Oh, yeah, to try and distract Prince, who's attacking Leroy. He's like, your mama sleeps with cats.
And that gets his
It
attention.
works.
He's like, oh, fuck no.
Oh, hell
You did
no.
not tell me that. My mom doesn't do that shit. And he goes after him.
Yeah, well, yeah, so they end up inside on the other side of the metal door, like inside the house. Prince is on the outside, and they like bar it with a mop.
Right.
You
So
know?
now they are in the house. They are trapped in the home. They
Yeah.
want to survey the house, find Spencer, and then leave through the front door.
Yeah, and like they're noticing like all the kitchen cabinets are locked. And Leroy's like, that's fucking weird. Fool finds like a bunch of dead flies everywhere. And
Yeah, they're on the windowsill.
yeah, and Fool's like, we should go.
Yeah, what the hell is this? And then they mention like, oh, even rich people have rats, it looks like. Yeah, because this place is not like, for all that it is, I mean, it's nice enough from the outside, I guess. I wouldn't call it a mansion or anything. It's a big home.
Yeah.
But it's just kind
No,
of
it's
like,
definitely an older.
it definitely looks like it's been passed down from generation
It
to
has.
generation
Yeah.
and like not kept up
Mhm.
well. Because the inside of it doesn't look great, honestly.
And Leroy does say that about the rats, but it's not. It's not rats. It's a roach.
Yeah,
But,
there's a
you know,
roach in the wall.
He doesn't know that. But yes, and yeah, Fool's
They-
like,
they
I want to
could-
go.
They could have easily called this movie The People in the Walls.
Well, there's only one in the walls though. The rest of them are in the cellar.
Okay, The Person in the Wall.
Yeah, but he's
Better
really
title
not
for
in
this
it.
movie.
No, People Under Stairs is a great title.
I think so too.
It doesn't, but it's not.
They are under.
It's one of the
stairs.
best things about the movie.
It's, I guess.
Anyways, Leroy's like Leroy basically starts calling Fool a pussy but he doesn't say those exact
Right.
words, but he's like, oh, he like kisses at him. He's like, oh, you want to go? Why
No,
don't you wait downstairs?
He calls
I'm
him
like,
girlfriend.
Yeah, he does. They're like,
Why don't you wait down here, girlfriend? I'll go up and look at the danger,
like, what
and
the
you just let
fuck?
me know if anybody comes in,
Which
okay?
makes sense. Fool should be lookout anyways.
What does he say later? He's like, if this world was fair, like, the president would have made me secretary a pussy.
Yeah. I think he says that in the van, yeah.
Yeah.
While they're waiting
I
for
was like,
Spencer or something.
Which, you know, I didn't really pay much attention in government class. Is that like an actual like position in the cabinet?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that what Bill Clinton thought he was?
absolutely.
Okay.
That he
I
he
thought
didn't
so.
he accidentally became president. He wasn't
Yeah,
even
right. He
going
was like,
for
oh,
that.
okay. Well, I thought I was fucking whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, so Leroy goes upstairs. They start hearing people, like, right? They're hearing something. There's these weird moans and shit.
Right. They think it's
And-
Spencer.
Yeah, yeah.
So they go to investigate.
Yeah,
Or
Fool's downstairs and Leroy's upstairs, and then he hears something, and Fool goes over to the cellar door and like puts his ear up against it, and then unlocks it. He like peeps through because there's like this little window thing you can open, and he sees the clipboard that Spencer had on the stairs.
yeah.
So
yeah,
and a lighter.
Lighter. Yeah.
So he unlocks the door and like goes down, and he's like, "Hey, Spencer," and he hears something. So and he starts to run, and he gets to the top of the stairs, and he's like, "Don't
He
be a
moves
pussy."
the television.
There's a
That's
television.
later. Yeah, that's yeah.
He's hearing the television playing, and he
Yes.
walks up, and
I know. Yeah,
something startles him on the other side of the cage, and that's when he starts to run away, and he trips over Spencer. That's where he finds Spencer.
later on. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, it doesn't matter because there's a rope attached. He starts to go up, and then he's like, "No, I need to not be a pussy." Basically, he's gonna go back down, and there's a
Right.
rope attached to the bottom of the door that swings shut and locks the door.
Yeah. So now he's locked in the cellar.
Right, and he walks around the basement and with the lighter he found on the stairs, and yeah, that's where the TV. You realize it's a TV. He finds a TV that's like pressed up against like this grate in the wall. Then he turns it around and looks at it.
So basically, this television is the entertainment for the people under the stairs that they're
Right.
keeping trapped in the cellar.
Yeah.
And he moved the TV, which pissed one of them off, and he scared him.
Yes.
And that's when he
exactly.
ran away, and he trips over Spencer.
Right.
And by the way, like, we're talking about how much time here? 10 minutes tops has passed between Spencer going in the house and then them going in after him.
Yeah.
He is already pale as shit.
Yep.
Rigor mortis is setting in.
Yes.
That's insane.
That's the magic of the house.
Yeah, I suppose. But they don't even say that he,
He
was
said,
like,
no, whenever he explains it to Ving Rhames, or
Leroy.
Leroy, whenever he explains it to him, he says that Spencer was scared to death.
That's what.
Yeah,
See, I
yes.
said that as a joke, and then he said it later on. Maybe I knew that. In
He
my
was
head.
scared to death.
Yeah.
You think he looked white before? You
right.
should see him now.
Right. Which is wild. Like, look, I don't know. When did this movie come out?
1991.
91. Wes Craven was already well established as a horror guy. Like,
Well, but at the same time, Freddy had already become very campy.
right.
You know, so I think he
But
was leaning
scared
into
to
that.
death?
Sure.
I don't know, man. I'm not buying
You
it.
cannot take this movie seriously.
No, you
Nothing
can't.
about this movie serious. The house makes no sense. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
So, but Spencer has a gold coin in his hand.
Yep.
So
that's when Fool sees that and he's like, okay, the story about the gold is real. So there's
Right.
lots of gold in this
and
house
he's
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And he's hearing more strange moans behind the wall. And he sees a person behind, the wall. He sees one of the people under the stairs. But then Roach appears out of nowhere and just like, which he does a lot, and just
Smiling his ass off.
jumps on his back.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
And you find out that Roach
He's trying to help. He's like, you need to get in the
Right.
walls, dude. Because
Roach is not trying to attack him. He's
Yeah.
trying to get him to understand that you are in danger
doesn't
here.
have the best social skills.
No.
He also doesn't have a tongue, we find out later. So he can't really talk.
Yep.
So
He was
Doesn't have
speaking
fingernail clippers either.
yeah, he does not.
And
Absolutely
I guess
not.
his teeth are too tiny to bite his nails or something.
Well, no, because his nails are pointy. So he's been sharpening them on
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
Which
they
is-
are pointy. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gross, man. I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
he wipes his butt.
This really is kind of a gross character, but
Oh, I
he's also
adore him.
endearing in a way.
He needs a bath, okay? He needs a bath and some comportment lessons, but he would be
he also
okay
needs to be reintegrated into society.
and taught sign language,
Yeah.
and then he'd be fine.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, it's not gonna happen for him.
Nah.
But yeah, so Fool runs up the stairs and is pounding on the door to the cellar, and Alice opens it, probably thinking it's Roach. I don't know.
Yeah, Alice is friends with Roach. She knows all about the people under the stairs. She's not oblivious to the fact that they're down there. She knows exactly who they are. She
Yeah.
knows exactly why they're there.
Yeah.
Wait a second. No. He finds the doll that's made up to look like him.
Yeah.
And so Alice already knew that he was there.
Well, I
The-
know because she saw him in the window
while
he was-
outside the house
while
when
he was
a
messing
Bear
around with the
Scout
pawn.
Yeah,
and
but then
stuff
she
like
throws she tosses the doll down
Yeah.
and lures him in with it.
that. I
Yeah.
guess that's true.
Yes,
And she does that later on too.
She's luring him
a
around
lot
the
of
home.
doll luring in this movie.
But she's trying to get him up to her room, to a safe place.
I guess. But Roach tries to grab his foot to keep him from going out, but he gets out. And then I don't know, Mommy and Daddy come back and Fool runs upstairs.
So you assume here that
looking
she
for
left
Leroy.
by herself in the car
Maybe went to go
pick him up from
somewhere.
wherever he was.
Probably.
And now they are back. They notice the van,
Yeah.
and now they know people are in their home.
Yes. And Fool runs upstairs and there's he's looking for Leroy and finds him. And Leroy's not dead.
Why did they move the van? The van was across the street outside of the neighbor's house while they were watching after Spencer went in.
Well, they went and drove it up
into the
driveway.
why? They could have come home at any time.
Well, I don't know.
And then what were they going to do? Be blocked in?
I don't know. They probably weren't thinking that hard.
I guess.
I don't know.
That
I
bothered
assumed
me.
to make a quick getaway or something, or load gold up or whatever.
But if she were to come back home, she would have been in the driveway blocking their exit.
yeah,
It doesn't make sense, and nobody would do that.
Well, they had to have a reason for the cops to
exactly.
come in.
That's
I mean,
Yeah,
Wes
that's kind of what
Craven-
I'm getting at.
Yeah.
The cops had to find the van on their property later on.
Yes,
That's the excuse, and
Yeah.
it's stupid.
but Fool tells Leroy that Spencer's dead and the lady is back. So they go downstairs to try and leave, and the front doorknob is electrified.
Which is the start of the Looney Tunes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, this is. Well, and
So-
also, it's just not a good idea. Like, what if you locked the door and you forgot and you were trying to go check the mail?
I
You're
bet
just-
if you did, you'd only forget once. And then you would compulsively check the switches every fucking time.
But also,
throw
it doesn't
something at
seem
the
to be
doorknob.
enough to kill you.
No, it's just a shock. It's just enough to dissuade someone like Alice or whoever's trapped inside from getting out the front door.
Right, right.
So,
So now, Ving Rhames is upstairs. Leroy.
they're downstairs now because they go
Fool is downstairs, right? He hasn't met up with Leroy yet.
Yes, I just said. He runs upstairs, finds Leroy,
Okay.
tells him that Spencer's dead. Anyways, so Mommy and Daddy are at the metal door in the kitchen, trying to bend it at the bottom so Prince can get in.
Yeah. Which, why they didn't go around to try the front door? Do they not have keys to their own house?
Well, I assume they know it's electrified.
So why even have that feature of your security alarm if you can't open your front door ever? If the alarm is set,
anything you're gonna say, I'm gonna say they're fucking insane. I don't.
Typically,
know.
you would set your alarm when you leave the house, right?
Jesus.
I don't know. I just think that was an oversight, and yeah, I'm going to say that a lot because
you can't think too hard.
This isn't
about
exactly
this shit,
well
man.
written
It's
or
just
well
fun.
executed. It's just it's weird, it's strange, and it's kind of out of nowhere.
But yeah, they bend the metal door just at the corner
Enough for Prince to get through.
Right, and he immediately, that's where he comes in, and Leroy's like hiding behind the couch, and he looks at Fool, and then Leroy pops up and he attacks Leroy again. So then Fool takes Leroy by the hand. Like Leroy has one hand has the dog, like Prince has one hand. And Fool has the other, and Fool makes his way in a chain over to the front door and touches the doorknob, so it shocks him, and that travels through and shocks Leroy, and then it shocks Prince.
Right. And I guess
Prince is like, blah! And then like falls over.
I guess you're supposed
he
to
flies through the air.
He does.
At first you're supposed to, I guess, think that it killed him.
Yeah, it didn't.
It does not.
No. That didn't. That makes me laugh, and I don't care.
Yeah, it was kind of silly.
So Mommy and Daddy get inside, and Leroy's like, fuck. He's trying to like kick windows out to like get out.
Yeah, all the windows are like, they're bulletproof, they're solid. You can't kick them out, you can't crowbar them off, and none of it. They're super locked down.
And
you're not getting out of the
Mommy
window.
says that the people under the stairs got the gas man, so whoever else is in here must be upstairs. They after they shocked the dog, Fool and Leroy ran back upstairs. So they're back. There's a whole lot of upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs.
Well, and we forgot to mention too, whenever Fool goes upstairs and sees Leroy, it's like this fake out where you think he's dead because he's laying on the floor and he's got his head like looking through like
the vent.
A vent.
Yeah.
And he's just laying there like no one would do this if they were alive. He was laying there for a solid like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And Fool was calling his name.
Yeah.
And he didn't move or anything. So this is stupid.
He was listening to the something.
Yeah, he was like, I was listening and I there's something down there. Why don't you go in after it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
And he's like, why would you want me to go down there if there's something in there? Like, what do you, anyways, that happened earlier.
Yeah. So Daddy kills the lights, and he gets the first of a few different guns. This is just a handgun.
Few different guns.
Well, yeah.
He's got.
The guy's got like 50 shotguns in that house. They're all shotguns except for that one
for this
pistol.
first one,
Yeah.
And he's got the flashlight, and
Now is this where he like changed into the GIMP uniform before?
Not yet.
Okay, because
No.
he goes from like suit to GIMP suit real quick.
Yes.
Like far too fast.
Yeah, well, it's like, when you get home and you take off your clothes, you get comfortable.
Yeah. Well,
So, but yeah, he's, it's this whole hallway scene and they're hiding. And anyways, he shoots Leroy. Roach did try to help at that point. Like he was out there. But yeah, Leroy is killed. And he rolls downstairs, big puddle of blood. And Mommy and Daddy think at that point he's the only one, so they're like dancing and like celebrating.
well, and what's weird to me too is like when Leroy gets in that, what is it, closet or something, and then Fool tries to come in with him, he's like, no, it's Fool. Go find your own place.
Yeah.
To hide.
Yeah. He doesn't care
Why?
about
This kid
Fool.
could have fit in there easily. Roach got in there.
Well, it's another way to show that Leroy doesn't really give a shit about
Yeah.
anybody but himself.
I guess.
You know, this movie is pretty heavy-handed with if you do bad shit's gonna happen to you, except for Roach.
Everything that, like, Ving Rhames in movies, he typically plays like a badass character that you don't fuck with. And in this, he's kind of a coward. It's really strange.
Well, he talks a good game.
He talks a good game, but like, and then he runs from danger. He, like, I don't know, like, Ving Rhames would not be afraid of Daddy.
Well, I think that he doesn't know what the fuck these people have got going on. There's a lot of weird shit in the house and everything's boarded.
Well, he saw the gun, so I guess that's a reason to run.
Yeah. Fool goes back up the hallway and sees the doll next to a candle.
Yes.
And
it's on a string.
It's on a little rope thing.
And it's being pulled by somebody.
Alice.
We find out it's Alice.
Right. Yeah, you see like her foot.
But it's showing him the way.
Come here, silently.
To safety.
Yeah. So Fool goes through the vent thing to like this inner room and sees Alice. And
does it seem like there's way too much space between the walls in this home?
I told you, the layout makes no sense.
There's a lot of space between the walls.
There's slides. There's spike traps.
I mean, there's you don't even, like, you would think, like, okay, the space between the wall, you probably have to stand sideways. It's probably cramped.
That over the course of generations, as his family got richer and more insane, it's like almost like the Winchester House type situation.
It's like the H.H. Holmes house.
Exactly.
Where you hire people to build, and then you kill the people.
A little bit here, and none of them talk to each other, so no one's really sure what's going on.
I didn't think of it like that. Maybe it's a way for them to get around the house undetected.
It's a house of horrors.
Yeah,
right.
That makes sense because the space between the walls in this place, it's like a hallway.
Yeah, and there's entire rooms
with like an 8-foot ceiling.
There's rooms back there because you see Roach's place at one point. He's got Christmas lights, and it's very quick.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shit going on. So yeah, he sees Alice in this little room on the other side of the vent and follows her. And Daddy now thinks at this point that it's Roach who's the other person. So he pokes his head in the vent and is like shooting.
Who he apparently just hates the fuck out of Roach.
Well, because Roach got out of the cellar. He's the one that kind of escaped and now he lives in the walls.
You get the impression that he does this a lot.
Yes.
He gets out of the cell just to fuck with him.
Hey man, he can't leave.
Yeah.
So what else does he have to do but
and the whole time he's like,
shit?
He's just giggling.
Yes. Because he sees how infuriated it makes both of them.
He's downright gleeful.
This is his one thing in life. What else does he have?
Yes, he gets off on being chased around the house and being shot at.
Tee-hee, poke, tee-hee. Like that's what it is, and I love him for it. So, so he's shooting. But anyways, they end up in a bathroom, and Fool's talking to Alice and finds out that she's never been outside, and that no one gets out. And you get a little lore here, all right? Because Mommy and Daddy were looking for the perfect boy child. So they basically, I can't assume they legally adopted. They stole a bunch of kids. They were looking for the perfect son, right? But each and every one had something wrong with them. So Daddy cut the bad parts out and put them in the cellar.
It's the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So if they were seeing evil, they remove their eyes. If they're speaking evil, they remove the tongue. If they're hearing evil, they remove their ears.
Right. So yeah, and he's like, well, what about you? How have you made it? And she was like, I don't see, speak, or hear evil. Right. And she is a very cowed creature, right? She's very timid. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, she's still actively trying to help him.
Wait, aside from being just a couple of psychopaths, why do they even want kids?
Well, to complete the family.
I guess to have some kind of lineage.
Yeah, to keep the family going.
To pass it down. But then after they die, why wouldn't the kids just be like, well, fuck this. We're ending this cycle of trauma.
Well, I think that, clearly they're wrong in the head, man.
Well, and you also, they say that
they kept it going.
This is generational, being passed down from generation to generation. Are Mommy and Daddy, were they kidnapped? Or are they blood?
I don't know. They say brother and sister.
See, and that's why I think that this is not as fucked up as we think
it's
of a relationship. Because if they were both kidnapped by their so-called parents, then they're not blood related at all.
Well,
and they were just raised as brother and sister. So the rest of the neighborhood would think they were brother and sister, but they're really not.
Yeah, they were raised as brother and sister.
And because they didn't have connections to anybody else and they were trapped in this home, maybe they formed some kind of sexual relationship.
Maybe, or they were inbred because this family just keeps getting
Yeah,
worse
it
and worse, and
never
that's why they're
explains
fucking
that.
nuts. I don't know. And or maybe that's why they didn't procreate together.
But it
either
seems to
because
me
they're
like
inbred
that's
or
the
they don't
reason
want
why
their child to be inbred. I don't know.
wanted Alice, and then why they also wanted a boy.
Well, they wanted a boy. Did they think she was a boy? How'd they end up with Alice?
I think they just wanted a boy and girl to carry on after they're gone, just like they were.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
What do you think, Chucky?
Damn it.
Do you think that mommy and daddy are biological brother and sister from their parents, and now their
I
parents
think they could be.
Or do you think
I mean,
that their parents did the same thing they're doing?
Who says their parents did the same exact things that they're doing?
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, they could have switched it up.
That's really interesting. That never occurred to me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought of that, and I was like, well, that sounds strange.
That's why they want the boy, because they already had the perfect girl who sees, speaks, and hears no evil. Then all these damn boys just keep having something wrong with them.
Yeah.
How dare they? Because I know
they can
Roach
burn in
spoke
hell.
back, and that's why he lost his tongue. But yeah, Roach is like moaning because that's all he really can do. And
no, he tried to call for help. That's why they cut his tongue
that's
out.
right. You are correct.
But
well,
he's speaking evil.
Yeah.
To them, that's evil. Trying to get out, trying to alert people, like going against what they want you to do is evil. So I don't even think they're religious. I just think that they're like full of their own shit.
I don't think
and
it's
like
any actual religion. It's another easy scapegoat like thing to say.
I think they think that they are like the religion. Like, we are the gods here. You obey us, and if you don't, then you need to burn in hell because you're a sinner. You're committing sacrilege against us.
Yeah, yeah. And Alice is, telling Fool that, Daddy hates him, meaning Roach.
Yeah.
Like in particular, and she kind
but
of
also,
is
why
explaining
even
the shit
keep
that he
them
does.
alive?
That was my question.
They don't do work around the house.
Well,
they just
okay,
stay stuck in a
hear
cell.
me out. They guard the vault.
Do they? Because they show Fool where the money is and say, take
I'm
it.
Saying,
They're
I
guarding
think
shit.
but most people, like Spencer, died of fright, right? Before he even got to where the vault was.
I'm still not buying it.
Who cares? It's not real. This is a fucking fairy tale.
My initial reaction to seeing a cell full of weirdos being trapped against their will is, holy fuck, this is fucked up. Something's going on here. These people need help. I need to get out of here and find them some help. It's not like I'm going to die of fright at the mere sight of these people.
Okay. So you're a bigger man than Spencer. I don't want you want me to
guess.
say.
Well, I mean, the mommy and daddy are cannibals.
Yes.
Maybe that's just their stockpile.
But they don't eat them. They eat other people that break in the house. Maybe
and
they eat them in front of them to get them riled up.
Maybe if they have a dry spell, then they pull one out of the cellar.
That's true. We don't know how many there ever were.
Do you want to eat one of them though? If you could get
I don't want to eat a
fresh, clean person.
Take it. No, I don't really want to eat a person.
Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, I definitely take like somebody off the street that had a shower recently versus
but it's
a
like
weirdo I've kept locked up in my cell since they were kids.
It's like during lockdown, okay, when we couldn't get a bunch of shit, and Mom and I went to Sam's.
Oh, this is like their toilet.
This
paper?
is their Chef Boyardee.
Okay,
it's like you wouldn't what you'd prefer,
this
right?
This is their sodium-free soy sauce that I had to buy.
This is their hand sanitizer.
Yeah, no, well, it's like this isn't what I'd prefer, but the world's insane right now, so I already have this stocked away. If it gets to it, I'll be glad I have it. Maybe I won't.
Any
have
excuse
to
is as good as any. It's just like
this is their hardtack.
Yes. Oh,
they're
yeah.
pemmican.
They're pemmican, dude. Don't get me started.
They needed
pemmican.
Here's the reason why.
and how
okay,
it changed.
They needed to keep them alive so that the movie could be called "The People Under the Stairs." That's it. That's all.
You asked the question.
But I don't understand the logic behind keeping them alive. Anyways, let's just move on because we're not going to answer this, and there's no excuse for it.
Anyway, so Daddy shows up in full gimp leather with the first of several.
This is a full body suit, complete with mask.
Oh yeah, lots of rings.
This is like custom made. You don't go buy.
It is custom made, and it's very fresh too. That was one thing I didn't like about it. it looked like it had never been worn before.
Yeah.
And a real leather daddy would have put some wear and tear on that. Maybe that's why Mom was taking him out. He had just got a new leather daddy suit.
Yo, maybe so.
It
And that's why she's telling him to put it on all the time.
Yeah,
there you go.
Put it on. I want to
Dude,
see what it looks like.
Check this shit out.
I think she made it. Because she's making dresses for Alice and shit. She's a seamstress.
Oh, so it's human skin?
No, it's definitely like, it's not leather either. It's kind of like, it's shiny. So it's like vinyl.
pleather.
No, it was leather. It was
it?
Yeah, it was leather.
He wouldn't be able to move like that.
And you
freely.
can dye leather to.
Sure.
You got to dye leather and make it look black.
It's
so.
true.
I'm
should
sorry.
have been. That could have been.
I just listened to Blood Meridian again on audiobook this week, and human leather is just.
If they had done that, it would have been more interesting. Like, this movie is begging for something interesting to happen.
In 1991, this was very interesting. You're also looking at this through 2024 eyes. I know I had never seen anything like this fucking movie when I saw it as a kid.
It is unique. I'll give it that. But
unique can be good or bad. It just is. Okay?
I just think it would have been way more interesting. It would have also explained why they kept the people under the stairs, because maybe they want to make outfits out of them. I just
realized that Sloth is the person under the stairs in Goonies.
Yes.
Fuck.
Absolutely. Dude, the parallels to Goonies in this they're crazy.
Yeah. Wes Craven, man.
So Alice tells Fool to get in the walls in the back of the bathroom cupboard. There's like a cupboard in there. But he gets in the bathtub instead.
Well, he doesn't want to go in there because he doesn't know what's in there, right? He knows he has seen the people under the stairs, and he knows they're in the walls and shit.
It's fucking dumb of him, because out of everybody, she's been the most helpful. And she's like, you need to get in here. He's coming. And Daddy is shooting every fucking where. Like, he's constantly blasting.
Also, you have to take into consideration that the character of Fool is also the Fool, the tarot card. He's gonna make bad decisions.
Naive.
He's gonna Yeah. So that ties in with the character.
I really do like how the whole tarot thing really did play in.
So I think that's what's going on here. He's kind of cocky and arrogant in a way. Because he even tells her, he's like, well, because she's explaining to him that, like, look, every time a mailman comes or like a salesman or something, they kill him. Yeah. That's what all these dolls I'm making are. They're dolls of the people they've killed.
Yeah, but that's a lot later.
And maybe and that's when he tells her, like, well, I'm different. Like, I'm going to get out of here.
I think that's bravado, though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's got arrogance to him.
He definitely didn't have that when he was talking to Leroy.
Like a fool would, because he's not listening to reason. He's not listening
he's talking to a girl. Is what I think. He's like, I got this.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so he gets in the bathtub and he's like, drawing the curtain, like the shower curtain. He's got the doll in his hand.
He's just in the bathroom looking for a place to hide, basically.
Yeah.
I'll take the wall.
Yeah, I follow her into the wall.
She went in there.
And you already know there's tunnels in there because you went through one, so why the fuck? Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, fool. Downstairs, Mommy is feeding Prince Spencer's hand. And then she gets on the intercom and says, Daddy.
Complete with ring.
Yes. And then she gets on the intercom and says, Daddy, police are out back. So.
Yep. The police have now seen the van in the driveway.
Right, and Mommy goes out to talk to them. And this is something we see a couple of times in the movie, is the moment the police arrive, whoosh, that like switch flips, and she is perfect, ideal, almost like 50s style housewife.
Yeah.
So she comes out.
She's acting in a way where if I was a cop, I would say something was up. Like, oh, tea, coffee, cookies.
Yeah, that's later on with her tray and all of that, and her perfect little dress.
Hang on here. No one does this. Yeah. No one likes the cops, okay?
No. If you're being that welcoming, what are you hiding? But yeah, they're like, hey, do you know this van? And she's like, oh, well, I saw a black man and a white man like walking away.
She's
but
she's telling them, like, we've already checked the house. There's no need for you to come in. We've even looked under the beds. We saw a black man and a white man walk off that direction. But, thank you for everything. If we need your help, we'll let you know.
And then Daddy comes out, and that's when the police say, well, you got lucky because this van was used in a liquor store robbery last night. And Daddy's like, liquor store, huh? Yeah. And they were like, anyways, have a good day. And Mommy looks in the back of the van and sees the Bear Scout uniform that Fool was wearing earlier.
So now she knows he's in the house too.
Yes. Yeah. So they know it's not.
So they've already
Roach,
killed Spencer.
Or not only Roach.
They've already killed Leroy.
Yeah.
Now they know, okay, this is Fool that's in there. They don't know his name, but
yeah,
they know he's in the house.
So yeah, and he's busy running away from Prince, like in and out of walls. There's a lot of wall chase scenes, like inside the
shooting,
walls.
wall stabbings.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is when like he like runs out of one of the vents and then like has his foot on, and like Prince is trying to get out, Pupperhead like out, and he's like kicking it, and I feel bad.
He's choking him between the
I don't like it. And
vent cover and the bottom of the vent.
Yeah, it's done a little too well. I don't really like that. Like it looks like the dog
coughs up the ring.
He does, and that's something I remembered. Like the moment I saw Spencer's ring when he's talking to mommy outside, I was like, that dog coughs up that ring later. That's one of those like moments that I was like, aha.
To be fair, like this scene, they're using a fake dog. Obviously, they're not strangling a real dog.
It doesn't look that fake to me.
I don't like. It's done very well. Look, okay, you can just tell that it is.
I had a dog when I was little who was half Pomeranian, half Eskimo dog. His name was Dinsdale, and he was the sweetest thing with no fucking brain ever, right? And he had one of the collars that would tighten like as you get further away, and that dog would choke himself all the time. And it's that exact same like noise that Prince makes, and I was like, I don't like it.
But it was not a real dog they were using.
I don't know, man. It was 1991.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
There's no way that dog was real.
There's definitely a chance that dog was real.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah, have you been watching that Chimp Crazy show?
I did.
I watched. Yeah. I know about Travis, but
that show is fucking wild.
Yeah.
But okay, fine. Maybe
and like
it was
Milo and Otis, that fucking movie that I loved as a kid, and then you find out how many dogs and cats and all kinds of shit.
Of course, that was Japan,
died.
though.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Voiced narrated by Dudley Moore. Anyways,
there are definitely moments in this movie where the dog is fake.
But so that isn't one of them.
I assume they were using the fake dog.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the only time I noticed the fake dog is when he was flying through the air when he got electrocuted.
Yeah.
There's shots where he's like growling and barking and shit, and it's like clearly a hand puppet. First of all, we watched this on Blu-ray. This was not meant to be on Blu-ray.
Didn't look anything like Triumph.
No, but I mean, this probably had a bigger budget.
It looked a little bit like Triumph.
But no cigar, though.
No cigar.
Close.
God damn it.
This is the humor, guys.
This movie was not meant to be seen in HD.
Really
so those things stick out. They stand out, and I catch those
like
things
the
real
money,
easy.
the money, the gold coins, and god, the stunt doubles. Vin Rames' stunt double is used a lot because I guess this was after. Was this after? Yeah, this was after Pulp Fiction.
No, before.
Pulp
Fiction was 95.
Pulp Fiction was 95.
This was 91.
Shit,
94.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this was pre-Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. But anyways, this is where Prince coughs up the ring, the skull ring. And so Fool sees that. And he gets away.
Which didn't really need to happen. I mean, the significance there would have been like, okay, the dog coughing up the ring would have been a key to Fool that Spencer's dead, but he already knew he's dead.
But then there's also the question of why would Fool know that that's Spencer's ring? Because like he didn't know Spencer at all. He talked to him in the van.
So this is just like
it's just a whatever.
I guess it was a way to let the audience know that
was
Fool.
Spencer's hand.
Well, no, that Fool now knows that they're eating the people. They're feeding it to the dog.
That's true.
Okay.
He did,
which really wasn't necessary. I mean, we already knew that they were eating.
Also, who cares? Who cares? I after I'm dead and they eat me, I'm not going to care. I just don't want to die.
Well, maybe it's,
I kind of like to be eaten, truthfully. I mean,
whatever. Do whatever to me after I'm dead. I don't give a shit, but I'm going to try to survive this. And what you do afterwards is of no consequence to me. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so then, I don't know, Daddy blasts a shotgun through the door. And here's the part where I said, Chad, talk about what happened next. It has to do with the toilet. He's back in the bathroom.
Yes, he's in the bathroom. Daddy has now shot a hole in the door, and then Daddy sticks his head through the door, kind of like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And he's looking around, and Fool is off to the side. He's got the lid to the toilet.
Yeah.
And whenever he looks in and looks up at him, he hits him over the head with the porcelain toilet lid,
Yeah.
breaking it, and then
The Looney Tunes sound effects really need to be like, somebody needs to put them in this movie. Like,
I think they would fit right in.
He needs the birds like around the head.
I think Roach is Bugs Bunny and Daddy is Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
Because he's even got the stupid hat when he's sucking on his pipe with
Later
the
on
cops.
with the cops in there.
There's something to that. Like,
That's funny.
God,
Yeah.
did he really steal that much material for this movie?
Inspiration.
Okay,
So
plagiarism.
sure. Whatever. But yeah, Roach grabs Fool and pulls him into the walls. And then Daddy comes in and he shoots the medicine cabinet open.
Yeah, creating a hole in the wall that now he's looking down a corridor.
Right.
And you've got Roach standing there with Fool, and Roach has a slingshot that he's
Right.
made, and he shoots a little rock into Daddy's head,
Yeah. He's got fuck.
which I guess knocks him unconscious or something.
Well, it knocks him a little silly, yeah, and it does make him bleed for like the rest of the movie. Because like even when the cops are there later, he's got that hat on. He like lifts up the hat to.
Well, that
dab
was
the
from
blood.
the brick
Oh,
that he drops.
He gets hit on the head
Wait,
a lot in this movie.
I don't know how Daddy survived as long as he did
Yeah,
with all this head trauma.
had a lot of head trauma. But yeah, so Prince follows into the walls. We have another chase like sequence.
And this is wild too, because within the walls now they have like contraptions
No,
that
this
have
is one of my favorite parts.
they have like spiked traps that are like
A
getting
little later
deployed
on,
and
yes, but the best part is Roach has one of the dolls and it's like a long shot of the hallways and he tosses the doll and Prince goes and picks up the doll and
Yeah.
then Roach like
pulls
pulls a lever
in the wall.
then the bottom of like the floor drops out and it's like in a drawer of some sort and Prince goes on this like
Down a slide.
down a slide.
This
And he's-
right here is straight out of Nothing But Trouble.
And he's like, "Roar." And I love it.
Yeah,
and he ends up like coming out, he like slides out from like under the sink in the kitchen, and Mommy and Daddy are down there and like, what the fuck? And he just like
why
appears.
would this slide lead to the kitchen sink?
Late night snack
Okay.
for Roach. I do wonder how much of this was done by past generations as the house was built. How much of it was because like Roach couldn't create these things, right?
No,
He
was this
doesn't
just
have
like a
mechanical
Was this just a
engineering
fun little
knowledge.
time for whoever was living there?
Maybe.
Hey, let's just put a slide here. 'Cause
Dude,
why
sure.
not?
Because
Complete with a lever.
Because it's fucking funny. But yeah, so they get it. They Fool and Roach get to Alice's room, and that's where you learn that Roach's tongue was cut out. And Fool sees like the Leroy doll on top of the bed, and that's where she explains that she makes them to hold the souls of the dead.
Yeah.
Of all like the service people and everything.
Which
that
doesn't.
come in. My
This
question
is-
is how the fuck does she make them so fast?
Well, that, but also, like, what is the point? These dolls don't come into play at all.
I think it's really more just that, well, what does she have to do? I think it's something she's done maybe so she doesn't forget.
Is that
so
just
they're not
supposed to add to her
totally
character
forgotten.
that maybe she's sympathetic to the people that
I
are
think
dying
so.
and she needs a place
She
to
can't do anything, but this
harness
way,
their souls?
well, I think it's so they can be remembered by somebody. That's what I think.
guess.
I don't know. She doesn't say that.
It's
She
just weird.
says that
They
she
should
makes them
have
to
they
hold
should
the
have
souls of the
found
dead.
something to like tie in.
Dude, you're lucky the dolls don't come to life in this movie,
Yeah.
like genuinely, and like strike back.
I suppose.
Ginger Dead Man style.
Yeah,
Or what was that? Stitches.
Stitches was the doll one.
Yes,
Ginger
Stitches,
Dead Man
yeah.
was the gingerbread cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It was like
voiced by
Stitches.
Gary Busey.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, the look on Chucky's face just I'm guessing you've never seen the Ginger Dead
I've
Man.
heard of it.
You know what Full Moon Productions
We
is,
went
right?
through
Yeah.
It's
we
one
went
of
through a
those.
period like 15 years ago or something where we watched a lot of full moon movies.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She tells him that the dolls are, like
Yeah.
a catalyst for holding the souls of the dead that
Right.
they
And
kill.
then Daddy busts in. Roach goes into the walls and Mommy attacks Alice. So, she's
Before we move on too far, like something that could have been done here that would have been really cool
yeah.
is if she had made a doll of Mommy and Daddy and it turned out that like there was a voodoo element to it.
Yeah, man. I almost wore my voodoo doll shirt earlier this week, but I have a shirt with a voodoo doll that says "Thinking of You," and that would have been good for this. if that had been the case, but it's not.
That could have been.
There's no voodoo
that could have
doll
easily worked into the plot later, like when Daddy was like aiming the gun at Fool or something. She could have stuck a pin in it or set it on fire and like got him out of that situation. But no, they never do anything like that.
But I mean, why
that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would. But like, where would she get that knowledge to do that?
I guess. Where would she get the knowledge to make the dolls to harness the souls?
Well,
like she just came up with that idea in her head.
Yeah, that's a little more logical than like Santeria stuff, though, out of nowhere.
I guess.
But no, I don't disagree. So yeah, Daddy busts in, Roach goes in the walls, Mommy attacks Alice, and this is where Daddy has Fool on the bed with the gun in his face.
Yeah, I had to pause.
Man, that was a
so
crazy
you could catch
still
up that fucking still shot
of Daddy.
That might be the fucking thumbnail I used to promote this podcast episode.
Did you take a picture of it?
No, but we have it. I can.
Okay.
He's got this look on his face, looking over at Mommy, and he's got the gun like right up under Fool's chin.
Yeah.
And Fool is just like casually laying there. He's not even fazed by it. It was the fucking wildest shot. Anyways, sorry. I didn't mean to derail you.
You're fine. But Mommy declares it's spring cleaning.
Yep. We need to get rid of everyone in the house.
Absolutely.
Which they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
None of this would have happened.
Well, it's not just that. It's also there's bodies around the house now that need to be seen to, and all of that. So they throw Fool in the cellar along with Leroy's body, and this is where Mommy like rips Alice downstairs and like throws her on the floor basically and has her clean up the blood.
Yeah, and that was not intentional.
I think because Alice slips and like bam.
Yeah, she hit the ground hard.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Like even
and I don't think that was a stunt double either.
Ow.
That was her. That was the actor.
Yeah, I don't think that was intentional. I don't know. But yeah, so she's crying and cleaning up blood. There's a lot of blood. Leroy, he's
been laying there for a while now.
It's a lot of blood.
He was shot like 8 times.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Daddy never reloads this gun.
No, he doesn't.
It's a shotgun. It's a sawed-off shotgun.
Yes.
That he never reloads.
No.
It's okay. I just wanted to throw that out there.
He's got several shotguns all over the house because he keeps running.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's just
grabbing different ones when it runs out of bullets.
I do wonder about the shell casings, though. There's never any shell casings.
No. You never see him leave the gun. Nothing.
No.
Anyways.
But yeah, so while Alice is cleaning up blood, Fool is chained up in the cellar, and Daddy is carving up Leroy. And this is where you find out that he is the cannibal. Because he's like, it's okay. It's what you do on Thanksgiving, right? You're carving the turkey, and you're like, all right, a little bit for me, a little bit for the plate. Right?
Leroy is hanging upside down from the ceiling in the cellar.
Yes.
And he's cutting pieces of them, like strips, off of him and eating it in front of the people under the stairs.
He does give them some.
And he says something about like...
I like to keep them real hungry.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. He tells Fool that he's got to keep them hungry. And now he's going to be throwing Fool into the room with the crazy people.
All right. Now Alice has cleaned up the blood, so Mommy takes her upstairs for a very, very hot bath. Like gown and all, just their dress and all. Throws her in there. Alice is screaming. There's steam.
She doesn't want to go in there, and Mommy, and this is where she's like... It's hot. I don't want to get in the tub. And Mommy is like, it's hot, but it's not as hot as the fires of hell.
Yeah,
like,
it's hot, but the fires of hell are hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again...
They could have got a better shot of that. Like...
The steam's
when they throw her in, there's like a half a second before she starts screaming. I mean, if the water was that hot, she would start screaming immediately as soon as she touches the water.
Maybe.
But she drops her in, she gets settled, and then she starts anyway.
And the steam is coming from underneath.
Yeah, you can see it coming like up in front of the camera, but like the water isn't okay.
It's not coming off the water.
It's the 90s.
Well, I will say, as far as taking a second, she could be in absolute shock because a couple of years ago, I spilled an entire hydro flask of very hot coffee on my lap in the middle of, like, it was late at night, and...
Yeah, it does take a little second.
I literally sat there for a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden my world was on fire. Yeah. So,
well, you also spilled it on clothing.
And then
which it might have taken a second or two to get through.
And then I cried in the tub for a while and called my mom, and she told me to go to the hospital, and I said nah, but I'm fine. What does I say? Oh, And then, so yeah, anyways, back in the cellar, Daddy unchains Fool and puts him in with the people under the stairs. It's another
Thinking they're going to kill him.
Right. Yeah.
But
and
they don't, because they're not
evil.
They're not evil people.
No.
They're just people, and they know that. Look, all of them were thrown under there.
Fool's different. Like, I don't know.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know. Like, maybe he has a chance, or he.
Maybe he can help them get out.
They don't kill each other. They don't eat each other.
Right.
They have like a band of brothers.
So again, I don't understand why Daddy thinks that putting Fool in there is going to make them eat him, because they're not eating each other.
Well, I think because they're starving. He treats them like you would dogs, because it's like, I'm eating in front of them. They get a little taste. All right, here's the whole meal, right? And if they were dogs and they had been caged, they would have eaten him no matter what.
But they haven't to this point. None of them have eaten anybody he's thrown in there. He just keeps piling them up.
Well, but yeah, I don't know, man. So Mommy and Alice are in the room. It's a back and forth thing, but yeah, Fool is surrounded by the people under the stairs. I do like that they all have working flashlights, which implies like they get fresh batteries
right.
from time to time.
Daddy just comes down there.
He's like, all right,
gives him a pack of
batteries. Alice said that he gives them flashlights and some kind of food, so I guess their life isn't that bad.
Yeah,
she does. Yeah. She does mention it.
Yeah, and then we hear the noise of chains moving, right? And because Fool's surrounded by all the people under the stairs and all of that, and then the chain noise happens, and they look over, and this is where Leroy's like head and torso, like what remains, like sits up slowly.
Yeah.
And then Roach like appears from behind it. And he's like,
he's using it like a little puppet.
Yeah.
He's
having a good day.
He's using Leroy's corpse to scare.
It's a distraction.
The people to back away from Fool.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe Roach thought they were going to eat him?
Maybe. Or maybe they were going to. I don't know. We don't actually know. Later on, they're nice enough. But at this point, it is kind of implied like they're circling him. We don't know what's going to happen. So, but yeah, Roach just has a key and lets him out, which implies again that he could have let the people under the stairs out at any time. Because he makes sure that only Fool gets out. But, okay.
I don't think he likes the other ones.
I don't know.
He doesn't interact with them.
I mean, he should empathize with them. He was one. He was a person under the stairs. He just got out and now lives in the walls.
I don't know, man. He's just not all there.
Yeah. So, but anyways, he lets Fool out, and Daddy and Prince are at the top of the stairs. And Roach and Fool get in the incinerator, which is big. Yeah. And Fool realizes that Roach has been shot.
Mm-hmm. And you would never know because he's laughing and smiling.
Well, that's his way.
Yeah.
I really do think he is the ultimate. For all that Fool is called Fool and it's his story, Roach is exactly the same in a different way. He's a fool too, as far as the naive, well-meaning shit doesn't always work out, but I don't know. I think he's just naturally a nice person. Mm. But yeah, he basically gets across to Fool that Fool needs to climb up.
Well, he's dying.
Yeah.
And he writes on the wall of the incinerator, Alice. And then starts pointing up to a grate.
Right. And he's like,
like, Alice go up there. That's how you get to her bedroom.
Yeah. And he gives Fool a gold coin.
Yeah.
And then dies.
Yes.
In that movie way of...
where he just kind of like, the life goes out of him.
Kind of.
But his eyes are still open. His smile just fades. That's all.
Bit, yeah. Yeah.
And
he was in Twister, too.
Yeah, he was.
And Lost, but I didn't watch that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't recognize
whatever. He's Roach to me. And then when I see Twister, I'm like, oh, that's right, Roach is in this. Sorry, dude. So yeah, Fool's climbing up like the inside of the incinerator. And Prince is like following along in the house. Like he's not in the chimney vent thing, but he's like going from vent to vent as like Fool is making his way up, you know. Right. And then Daddy's threatening Alice, and I do like this moment too, because Daddy's like bitching at Alice about whatever, and Prince is at Alice's door barking, like saying, "Hey, like he's right here,
he's coming."
And Daddy like opens the door and screams, "Shut the fuck up!" And then like slams the door, and the dog's just like
the look Prince gives him is like, fine,
do whatever.
See if I help you again, asshole.
Just shut the fuck up. Anyway. But when Daddy turns around, Fool is there and punches him in the dick.
Yep.
Yeah.
He runs up, Dick punches him. He drops to his knees, and then he breaks a lamp over his head.
Yes. Yeah.
And now he's bleeding on the floor.
Yeah. And yet more head trauma for Daddy.
Yeah.
Head trauma for Daddy. Alternative title.
There you go.
Yeah. And then, Fool and Alice go back into the walls. But her dress gets stuck on this like bit of metal or whatever.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even really try. Dude, you could easily rip that.
Yeah,
I feel like Fool could have reached forward and ripped the dress or like what the fuck?
It was just
they get stuck right there for too long.
It wasn't done well.
But yeah, so anyways, that gives Daddy time to go downstairs and like pile wood and lighter fluid and all kinds of shit all over Roach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna smoke them out, right? And he tells
when he
Roach
throws
to
the
burn
match in
them.
there, he just like explodes.
Yeah, it's a lot of lighter fluid.
Was it lighter fluid or gasoline?
Something.
I think it was a gas
An
canister.
accelerant of some sort.
Yeah.
I was writing, I don't know. I just saw liquid.
It looked like a red gas can.
Okay. It tells him to burn in hell. Back upstairs, like the vents are starting to fill with smoke, so there's cough. They start coughing. Dress gets free. And then they like break out of the vent, right? Like into the in between the walls. It's like the metal part. They just like boom, boom, boom up and out. So now they're back in between the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they're trying to be quiet, but they gotta sneeze. They end up sneezing. And Daddy's kind of sing-songing, shouting about how he's going to kill them. He does he has these moments throughout this movie of just like, woo, like, it's funny.
He gets giddy.
He does. Yeah, he cannot contain.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how often really does this happen?
He's kind of a dullard, He's just kind of a simple man.
Well, Mommy's in charge. For all that he's the one going around, she
tells him what to do. He
charge.
never has to think for himself. So he's just kind of like child-minded and giddy.
Well, he has a directive.
He reminds me a lot of Jethro from Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, he does.
Like a big, skinny Jethro.
Yeah, just a
Gimp outfit.
Yeah.
So he's going around with the shotgun. This is where the spike trap comes into play. Like, it gets triggered, and it is like Indiana Jones style, like on a wheeled platform, bunch of spikes.
Why it's in between the walls, I have no idea.
I don't know. Mommy and Daddy are in Alice's room, and she's like, kill him, Prince. They say, kill him, get him. So Prince is back in the walls again. And he jumps on Fool, and Alice is on top of Prince, and they're both like wrestling with him.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Daddy's looking for them,
and he's got a different gun.
This one has a bayonet.
This one's like this is
like an M1 or something.
Yeah,
one of those World War I guns.
Right.
Yes,
and he just starts stabbing into the wall.
Right.
He can hear where they are because of all the noise they're making and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I really like that shot, though. Oh, wait, go ahead. It explained the fight and how he...
Okay. Well, yeah, so, and they're fighting with the dog, and they're trying to get, moving. I mean, you kind of know what's going to happen, but he stabs through the wall, and you hear both Prince and Fool, kind of make noise, and then he, takes the bayonet out, and it's dripping with blood. The wall starts bleeding.
Yep. And then he does another song and dance. I got him.
Yeah. Yes.
Dancing around Mommy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, prove it.
Yes. Yeah. Prove it. And at that point, Fool sees light above them. So they start going up.
climbing
Yeah.
towards the attic.
Towards the attic. Daddy breaks the wall open, and Prince isn't entirely dead because he kind of lurches forward in this last moment,
Yeah.
like whining.
And now mommy is upset, and daddy's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm never going to hear the end
Yeah,
of this.
he fucked up. He killed Prince, man. That's garbage.
Yeah, it is. I liked Prince.
I like Prince. He's a good boy. Yeah, so Fool and Alice are in the attic, and the window is just open up there. Like, open to the night air.
Yeah. Well, and Alice even mentions, like, there's no way down. It's a straight fall down into the courtyard. And Fool was like, no, I think there's a pond
There's a
right
pond.
below it.
Yeah, because he
Let's
was throwing
go.
rocks in it earlier.
And when you look at the shot outside, there's clearly just there's a balcony right below it that they could have climbed down to. And then
Well, yeah,
climbed
it's
down
like the attic and then there's roof. Because, like, he gets out.
Yeah, but directly under the roof was a balcony.
Oh, yeah.
Before the ground. And there was plenty of ways for them to climb down.
I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd risk breaking my leg or my neck.
Yeah, we're
to get out
talking
of
about
this fucking house.
We're talking about a 2-story home.
Yeah.
It was not a
3 with the attic.
I guess, but it did not look that far of a fall. You would survive it.
It would be
for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
And if not, my problems are over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose you could, in theory, like break your back or something and be stuck there. And then that
they
would suck.
and then they come down and kill you.
But regardless, he's like, hey, we gotta jump. And Daddy, of course, is shooting. They're up there now, and Fool jumps, and then Daddy's in the window, and he's about to shoot.
Alice is afraid, so she stays behind.
Right? Yeah. Fool is just
Fool
sitting
goes
on
out the
roof.
window. He's on the roof.
Yeah, and Daddy has the gun out the window, and Alice like yanks it away, so he can't shoot him.
Yeah, and then Fool slides off the roof into the pond.
Yep.
And then as he's swimming out of the pond,
Like 4 seconds later,
Daddy is
Daddy's
running
downstairs,
out of the
running
back
out
door.
the back door, shooting, and like Fool makes his escape, and then this is where Mommy comes outside and
says,
is like,
"Do not shoot your gun outdoors.
Never shoot your gun outside the house, bad boy."
So this ties
Get
back
inside.
to what Chucky had mentioned earlier with the house being soundproof, and I think you're correct. Because she's like, you could shoot the gun in the house, don't do it outside because the neighbors are going to call the police.
Yeah, I'm correct.
Hey, why don't we let the audience tell us when we're right and wrong, okay?
Have we gotten to the scene you wanted to talk about, or we go past it? Because you were talking about some scene. You were like,
Oh no, it was a shot. It was that shot of the knife coming out of that vinyl wallpaper.
Yeah.
In the way that it's
They had the blood on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
It's kind of like the Evil Dead.
That
Right.
almost.
Oh,
was-
yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at it too, it almost looked like Freddy's claw. The way that the bayonet is shaped, it looks like Freddy's claw.
Dude,
I
the
noticed that,
house is like Freddy's house.
but- Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of that house that they went to in Freddy's Dead. You remember the one where they're playing video games
Yeah.
and all the shit happened. When they went back to Elm Street.
Uh-huh.
That probably
the one
one
Alice
of the
Cooper-
It
houses
could've
from
been.
the Elm Street.
It could have
movies.
been.
Is that the one Alice Cooper was in? Where you get, because he's his dad. Canonically, Alice Cooper plays
I
Freddy's
don't know
father.
if it was that one.
Was it?
I think it was.
I feel like
Was
it
it?
was.
Yeah, I think.
It wasn't New Nightmare,
No.
which is my favorite.
Eh,
I like
that one has
I
its
like New
moments.
Nightmare. Anyways, yeah, I think it's Freddy's dead though. Anyways,
I kind of like the gay one.
2?
Yeah, too.
2 is really good.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite one out of the franchise. Besides the Dream Warriors one. That
Everyone
one's-
likes 3 the best.
Yeah.
They say that. I don't like the veins, like the marionette puppet.
That was awesome.
No, it is awesome. It makes me go, ugh.
Yeah.
To think of it makes me want to rub my wrists a
The
lot.
fucking
'cause-
puppet, the
Yeah.
Freddy puppet that comes off the wall when I was a kid and I saw that, like, that freaked me the hell out.
Oh, and then he's like above, and yeah. Anyways, I like Freddy movies. They're fun, man.
It was the claymation,
Yeah.
the way it was moving and shit.
Talking
it just-
meatballs always made me hungry.
That was the first time that, like, I had seen something, I guess, outside of Pee-wee's Playhouse that was claymation.
Mm.
So I didn't know that it could be all, like, fucked up and twisted and weird. And,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So a fool escaped.
Yeah.
and, so yeah, I don't know, cut to a new scene with Fool, Ruby, and this man. We don't know who he is yet. His name's Booker.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in lots
in
of shit.
everything.
He was the barber on Northern Exposure, and I normally hate anything that has to do with Chris. He's the worst character on Northern Exposure, but that episode I watched, I didn't fast forward to the Chris part because the barber hated Chris, and I was totally on board for that.
We never finished that.
Yeah,
we got through season
want
1
to.
and just.
Well, you didn't care much for it, I think.
I think we moved on to Shogun.
Oh, and then we didn't finish that.
And then we moved on to
Ozark.
So-
And tonight tomorrow we're watching Akira. But yeah, no, everything that guy's in, he usually plays like a wiser role,
Yes.
like a mentor type.
He's an older, like salt and pepper haired guy.
I trust that man.
Yeah,
Like,
if he gave me advice, I would
like,
listen.
All right, you know what? He's got some life experience, and he's gonna lead me down the right path.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
genuinely, everything he's in, I always like him. So Fool has a small handful of gold coins that he's kind of like squirreled away like throughout the house. He's got, the one that Spencer had. He has, the one that Roach gave him. He's got like 5 or 6 gold coins or whatever.
Yeah. And he's showing him.
Yeah, and Booker's like,
Booker.
all right, well, yeah, no, this is enough to pay your rent till like the year 2000.
Yeah. And cure his mother's cancer.
Yeah, because one of the things Leroy was talking about when he told Fool that Mama had cancer is she couldn't afford the surgery.
Okay.
Right? They could take it out, even though I don't know that Leroy knows that, but whatever.
Here's my problem with this, and I get that they're going to sell the gold coins to a coin collector and get cash.
Yes.
To pay their rent.
Right.
What the hell makes them think that these landlords, mommy and daddy, are going to let them live there after this?
Well, legally, if they pay 3 times the rent within the time, they cannot do anything about it.
I still don't think it. I think that they're just going to kill him.
Legally, they can't. Why would they go through all this and put the fine print in about triple the rent when they know they can't do it?
I don't know.
Anyway.
You broke in my house. I've been chasing you around trying to kill you.
They don't know that Fool lives in that apartment, though. They don't know who the fuck he is.
I guess.
They don't know that he's
must not.
connected to that apartment at all.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, would they want to honor it? No. Would they try and figure out something else in the future? Absolutely. But they would have to honor it, at least for the moment.
Okay.
Like legally. Unless they bought the judge, and then we're getting into nothing but trouble territory again. Anyways. So, and this is where Booker is talking about, this is where we learn that mommy and daddy are brother and sister.
Yeah. Booker tells them about the history of
the family, of the house, and all of that. And he was like, even when I was a kid, we knew not to walk by.
Right. Don't go near that house. It's fucked up. You will get captured. You will be.
And like the police won't do anything.
Right.
They don't believe there's anything wrong, but like all the locals know, like, don't fucking do that.
Which why Leroy didn't know about the house, or why Spencer didn't know about the house, or why Fool didn't know about the house.
Maybe they're not from the neighborhood. I don't know. But they started out like having a funeral home, and then they got into real estate. And I have a note here that says "Mo money, mo crazy," which is how it goes. Yeah, that's been going on for generations. But then, a little later on, he goes in to check on his mom. And she's sleeping, and he's like, I did a bad thing. And Ruby comes in, and she did another reading, like another tarot reading for him. And she's basically telling him, it's scary. I don't know what you're going to do, but like the cards aren't good, man. Like, don't fucking do that. And it's clear he's going to go back, right? He made a promise to Alice.
When he says that too,
yes.
Like I made a promise to her, and I'm going to honor it, and I'm going to go back. And I was like, that's awesome.
No, it is. It is, because he does try. It is. He already knows the police won't do anything, but I do like the way he goes about it. Right. He goes to a payphone and calls the police and wants to report child abuse.
Well, and for all that he's growing up in the ghetto, and he could easily be, just a criminal, right? Even at his age, he
wants to be a doctor.
Exactly. He wants to be a doctor. Boy. He wants to help you. Like, it's so refreshing to see. Like, Fool is really a good heart. He's like a very good realized character. Mm-hmm. And I do like him a lot in this.
Yeah. I like Ruby too. So, cut back to the house, and this is where mommy has cookies and coffee. Like, the police are, like, going up inside, and they're like, they don't even have kids, so, like, this is pointless, but they do have coffee, though. So, haha, and she's in full-on hostess mode. You know, cream and sugar, here you go, haha, haha.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy's got a hat and a pipe. You know,
The Elmer Fudd hat.
Yeah, I really do
pipe.
like. He is surreptitiously going around and removing handcuffs from tables and putting little bowls of flowers there instead.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
He opens that little hidey hole under one of the stairwells, and the light just happens to be on, so you can see his shotgun,
Yeah.
his chains, and,
Yep.
and he switches it off and closes the door without the
It's,
cops.
yeah.
This is
seeing it.
another one of those like wardrobe changes that happens way too quick because he gets out of the gimp outfit. Now he's in his like Hugh Hefner, Elmer Fudd getup.
I honestly, I figure that once Fool got away, they assumed the police were going to show up at some point. So I mean, she had to make those. She had to make the coffee. They
I
had
think the
to,
cookies were store bought.
Well,
Or
yeah,
maybe
they
the
were,
cookies were the ones that Fool was trying to sell her earlier.
the Bear Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did he have cookies, or was
No.
he trying to sell
No, he
cookies
did
so
because he
could bring
pulls a
them back?
box of them out of the bag.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah.
Or he's got
Those
like
are
a-
the cookies.
Waste
Yeah.
not, what not, man. She's not going to eat them.
That was a callback to
Yeah.
the cook because she mentions how much she hates fucking cops and cookies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the cops is like, hey, you're going to want to see this, like to one of the other officers, the detectives or whatever. Because the detectives are like, sorry about this. And no, it's fine. And if it saves one child from getting abused, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, but they find Alice's room. Why there aren't holes from shotgun blasts all over this house?
Yes, Daddy has Swiss cheesed every fucking wall in this place
Absolutely.
throughout this film at this point, and none of those holes are in the wall
No.
anywhere. None of the
No.
stab holes.
And it's not like there's tapestries suddenly on the walls or something
Right.
where you could like conceivably be like, oh, they hung those up, you know, to cover the shit.
Yeah, the house even looks cleaner
Absolutely.
when the police
It's
show
all
up.
bright and lovely and whatever. So, but yeah, they find Alice's room and, you know, mommy basically is like, oh, well, yeah, this was Alice's room. The Lord saw fit to take her long
She's
ago.
no longer with us. It's a sore spot for us, and we don't want to talk about
But
it.
it's as if she still lives on to this
Yeah.
day in this house.
And
you
of
know.
course, the detective is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
Oh,
mean
shit,
to bring it
my
up.
bad.
So
That must
let's get
suck.
out of here."
Yeah. So, and yeah, that's when she kind of drops the act and she was like, if I don't ever see another cop or another cookie again, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
But yeah, but as she and Daddy are going upstairs, she does mention that as she and Daddy are going upstairs, he mentions that they're concerned that the back door was left open
yeah.
for so long, because the police left it open and they couldn't watch it all the time, which is, I mean, okay, cool. So then in the kitchen,
I
Fool
love this shot where
opens
Fool just comes out of the
out of the cabinet.
cabinet,
Yeah.
above the sink.
Yeah. Yes. And
Why would you hide there?
well,
There's so many other places you could have hidden.
Well, I think that's
under
as
the sink.
far-
Why the one above it?
Yeah, if he knew about he didn't know obviously that Prince slid out, you know, from the slide.
There were
but
so
he
many
could have
cabinets on the
conceivably-
ground that he could have climbed into.
I don't know. I assume someone was
And
coming.
he climbs
in
into the one where you keep the dishes.
Yes. How did he get there? There should be shelves inside that cabinet.
Yes, that's what I'm
So-
saying. Like, it's ridiculous. I love this shot, though. It's
Mhm.
hilarious.
Yeah, he gets a fire poker and goes upstairs, and Mommy and Daddy are saying their prayers. Like you hear them
Yeah.
saying their prayers, and he gets into the room, and there's
They're
like
doing that prayer that if I die, but
it's the Lord's prayer.
yeah,
If-
but
if I kill
if I kill
Yeah.
before I wake, and that's when he sees the recording
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah.
It's a Wes Craven like touch.
Yes,
Like
that
definitely.
is a staple
That's a
of Wes
very
Craven
Freddy
films.
type.
Yeah, it
you know,
absolutely
1,
is.
2, Freddy's coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's
You know,
a
that's
couple
it.
of Nightmare on Elm Street references here, especially with the furnace, with the bayonet looking like Freddy's little glove knife,
Mm.
and then now with this as a callback too.
So, yeah, there's a recording on the bed, and then so Daddy in his gimp outfit pops out, and
Another wardrobe change that happens way too quick.
I just assume that thing's got. How does he get it? Is it multi-piece?
Maybe
one
he's
piece?
just always wearing it. He just puts clothes over it.
and just like puts the mask.
Yeah, and then just puts the
What do you think, Chucky?
I think
You're doing a lot of thinking and whittling over there.
I think his human face is the
Is the real
mask.
mask?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Takes the human face off and then
No, now that I think of it, I think
underneath.
he is just wearing this outfit at all times underneath his clothing.
He must smell so bad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
God.
My GIMP mask is horrible smelling, and
You
I've
think
only
he's
worn it once or
joking?
twice.
He's got one.
I didn't.
Dude, it was for sale on Amazon.
Hey,
it was on sale.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying you got
All
one.
I'm saying is that shit does not breathe.
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
And not easy to wash. So, yuck.
But yeah, maybe that's what's going on here.
Must smell like Parmesan.
Because when the cops,
Oh, no.
because when the cops show up, he's just wearing like a robe, and then he put the hat on to hide the fact that he has a scar on his head from.
No, he was wearing like pleated pants
Yeah,
with a
he
tucked in
was
shirt.
full on,
He was,
like,
Nah.
Leave It to Beaver
yeah,
style.
like Saturday Night Leisure.
Yes.
Okay, well
Yeah,
maybe I'm
with
wrong.
his-
Well, then none of
his
this makes
pipe and
sense.
all of that.
These costume changes absolutely
It
don't
does.
make sense.
No, it does. No,
Okay.
they don't.
Anyways, let's
Moving on.
continue.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. And Fool puts his thumbs through his eyes.
Which is what you should do if somebody grabs you. Thumbs in the eyes, folks.
There you go.
Either that or grab hold of their jugular and
Yep.
pull a little bit. You don't even have to pull very hard. Just kind of squeeze a little
Or
bit.
you can give them a Judge Dredd and just karate chop their Adam's apple and suffocate them to death.
Yeah.
But I don't think Fool was really
Or a
that.
palm to the nose.
Palm
like
at that angle, that upward
Yeah.
angle, yeah.
But he's just a kid and he's not very strong anyway.
But he did.
pop him on the sides of the ears
Yeah,
real
yeah.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
So mommy grabs Fool, and he just like fucking hits her with the fire poker in the legs, like bam, right? And so then mommy grabs Fool, and he just like, hits her super fucking hard in the legs with the fire poker, and she's like, ah! And
Is that where he breaks the fire poker
Yes.
on?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it just snaps in half because
Yes.
fire pokers are made out of wood.
iron, fucking iron, and her leg isn't broken because she limps along.
Yeah,
right?
that's why she keeps staring at her legs for the rest of the
Yes.
movie.
I mean, you do see it at one point,
Yes.
like it is fucked up, but it's not broken.
No.
No.
I think she just had weird looking legs.
Yeah, yeah. And she switches the downstairs. This is where we start to see like the different switch panels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She switches the downstairs doors. This is how they control like what's accessible and what isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they would have panned over a little bit, it would have said bone stripper.
Yes, this is
Right next to it.
Hey, I was just about to say this is straight out of Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, but Daddy tells Mommy to open the kitchen door,
Yeah.
right? And they think that he got out. They get downstairs. He's hiding up the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they think he got away. He starts climbing up the chimney from within. Alice is chained in the attic. And Fool, like, this is the most convenient brick placement in all of cinema because he just like knocks this brick out and
Right
it's
by
like,
her.
Yeah, they're at like on the same eye level,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
next to her.
It was very convenient.
It was very convenient. And you know, he's like, "Hey, we need to try and get these bricks out." She's
Yeah.
like, "I'm chained
I'm
up."
chained up, and he's like,
And there's like a bolt like through the, I guess
The brick.
the mortar that like
there's a bolt through the brick that she's chained up to, and he's got access to the other side of the wall where he can like hammer
right.
it
He
out
just kind of pushes it out
and free her.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Daddy comes up, so she acts like she's chained. You know, she puts her arms back up and she's like, "Please let me out."
Yeah, and this is
this is a
this is
Yeah.
definitely one of those moments.
Yeah, this is when
No,
Daddy's about to diddle Alice.
I don't like it.
Jesus.
He just gives her that
fucking-
one little
And he
look.
grabs his crotch, like, and then Mommy's right there. She's like, "Daddy!"
Yeah, because she's like, "Will you let me down, please?" And then as soon as she's
He
like
just kind
begging,
he kind of groans a little and grabs himself. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's-
"Ugh." And I'm like, "Ugh."
didn't like that.
No, we don't like it. And she, Mommy comes up and is right there and tells, help me to bed. Let's go.
Yeah, and this is one of the scenes where she's on the bed looking at her leg,
Yeah.
rubbing her leg. So
Yeah. And so once Daddy's gone, Alice is like, "Hey, Fool." And he's like, "Hey, meet me at the window."
There's a lot of foot shots in this movie now that I
There's
think
the
about it.
Tarantino reference.
Yeah, because keep showing her weird feet, and then they show that girl's
They
feet.
show Alice's foot more than once. Like, yeah.
And Ving Rhames is in it. But this predates
Oh,
Pulp
I was
Fiction,
like,
so
what is it? They show his feet, but no, yes, yeah.
just connecting it to Tarantino.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wait a second.
He's been stealing ideas so much that he's preemptively stealing them.
Roach wasn't in Pulp Fiction, was he?
I don't think so.
No?
Who was
Like
he
a
there?
small part, maybe? No,
I
no.
don't
think so.
I'm probably getting them mixed up with somebody else.
Okay. If so, you guys let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. And Fool says, meet me at the window. You know which one.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Was there a
That's
specific
the attic window, I assume. The one
Okay.
that's open.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he like goes out the chimney and then like meets her at the window.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mommy and Daddy are in the bedroom, basically just talking shit about Fool and Alice. And then in the attic, Fool and Alice reunite, and he tells her that they are not her parents.
Yeah.
Just so you know, they are not.
Because Booker had mentioned that they are brother and sister, so now...
And that they were stealing children and stuff like that.
Fool is explaining to her what's going on.
Right. And he's like, you up for a jump? And she's like, oh, the moment you left, they drained the pool and Daddy put rocks and glass and shit like in the bottom. So like, that's not an option anymore.
Right.
And this is where they see dynamite in the floor.
Yeah.
Now dynamite is in another Looney Tunes style.
Yeah, so apparently the house is just rigged with dynamite.
Oh yeah,
I guess
like
if,
everywhere.
as a plan B,
But they're
if they're
just
ever
kinda,
raided
like,
and
noted.
yeah,
Okay.
they
and
could just
then-
demolish the home.
Yeah, they go on the roof. And then back to Mommy and Daddy. And Daddy says that Alice is a whore. I think something in his brain like has switched when it comes to Alice.
Yeah,
I don't
now
know if it's he's seeing her chained up and helpless. or-
Right. He's definitely
He's
like
just been so excited all day. Look at all the stuff that's been going on. And he's in his little gimp outfit.
yeah.
You know?
He got to shoot things and stab things, and
He
he's having a
did.
day.
Well, and I mean, Mommy, even if she was putting out Sister Mommy, she wouldn't today. He killed Prince.
Right.
You know, and he let Fool get away.
Yeah.
Anyways, these are sentences I have to say, apparently. But yeah, so Mommy slaps him, and then he starts choking her. But then they hear noise from the fireplace, like little, like...
Yeah,
like,
skittering around in the fireplace.
and
now
shit
they're like,
falling down. And
that's where they're at.
yeah, so Daddy, like, gets in the fireplace with the shotgun and starts just shooting up. And Fool's, like, making
Fool's
noise.
acting like he's
like,
wounded.
oh, no!
Yeah,
Ow!
he's really playing it up, too.
He's doing a great job. And Alice hands him a brick. And he just drops it.
So now you've got
Daddy.
soot and all kinds of shit falling onto Daddy's head. So he's
Yeah.
taking the gimp mask off so that he could see better.
Yes.
And as soon as he does, Fool drops a brick on his head.
Yep.
Somehow, Mommy can.
She
sense-
reacted. Yeah.
She reacted before the brick
Yes.
even hits him.
I noticed that too. That is very strange.
Like,
She is-
no, Daddy. Pop.
yeah.
Just one with
There's
the
no
house.
way she would have been able to see that brick coming
She
for him.
may have realized that she is in a Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I fucking see how this is going.
Yeah, that reaction was definitely noticeable.
Yeah, no, for sure. So then she gets the gun and she's like looking up, and they like Fool and Alice are starting to slide down the chimney.
Yeah.
So
Which is like, I guess this house is like my sister's, and the chimney has multiple outlets, like
Yes.
on different levels.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
each
Yeah.
floor has a
Old-
fireplace.
Like old Victorian style homes and whatnot that use that for heating
Yeah.
did have that.
Yeah.
No, they
And-
do.
Yeah.
She,
And they would also go into the vents
okay.
and,
yeah,
and
it
heat the
branches
rest of the
out
home
and
too.
whatnot.
All right.
Yeah. So Fool sends Alice down like out. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're sliding down, and then they like meet up with Mommy and fight in the chimney for a minute.
Well, they slide down and they land on Mommy.
Right.
And Fool's wrestling the gun out of her hand.
And he's got his fingers up her nose.
Yeah.
Yes. Once he gets the gun out of her hand, he puts his fingers up her nose,
That's
and it
gross.
causes her to like freak out and run out from under the chimney.
Yeah, I just dropped the shotgun,
Yeah.
run out of the chimney and out of the room, I
Yep,
guess.
I
Because
guess.
Fool says to Alice that he's going to go down and get the gun, and he somehow knows that sticking his fingers up her nose freaked her out enough to just leave that shotgun behind.
Yep.
It's her one weakness.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But yeah, and so they're going through.
It's almost like this isn't really written well.
All right, Chad.
So he's like, "Do you know what room that is?" And she's like, "No," because they're at a different section of the chimney situation now. And he's like, "That's the living room. They left the back door open. Like, go out through the kitchen and get the fuck
Alice
out."
leaves the fireplace.
He's telling her to do that. Yeah.
Right. She leaves at the living room level.
Yes.
Fool goes down to the cellar level.
Right. And she's like, "Come with me." And
Into
he's
the
like,
furnace.
"I'm not done with them yet." So yeah, he goes down to the cellar, and Mommy catches Alice in the living room and is just like, "Where is he? Blah, blah, blah." And Alice reaches her breaking point at this point. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that she's learned that they're not really her parents.
I think that has something to do with it.
I'm sure it plays into it, but she has had enough.
Well, yeah,
Mommy's barefoot.
now if you're not my parents, why the fuck am I listening to you?
Well, everything you've done to me.
Yeah.
And you're not even my parents.
Yes.
And she fucking stomps the hell out of Mommy's barefoot.
Yeah, that got me.
That was, yeah, you did. You were like, "Huh."
Yeah. I don't like
But-
that shit.
Well, she deserves it. So yeah, no. And Daddy comes down because like Mommy's like, "Ah," and like falls on the stairs.
Mhm.
Daddy comes down to her. And this is where she's like, "All right, both of them can burn in hell." Because before Daddy was like, "No, Alice is a whore," and she's like, "No, fuck you." No, now
we
she's
need her.
done. Yeah,
But now we don't.
They can both burn in hell.
Well, it probably has something to do with the fact that now she knows that Mommy isn't really her mom.
Yeah. Well,
So
Mommy
now
doesn't
she's
know
gotta
that
die.
she knows that, but yeah,
We can always find another daughter.
yeah, start over, whatever. So they go in the kitchen and they're like looking through all the cabinets. I assume like looking for them because this is a fun house. Like anything
Yeah,
could
you
lead
never know when there's
anywhere.
just like a slide that's going to
An
lead into a
entirely-
cabinet.
Yeah, a fully appointed parlor just behind the fridge. Like you don't fucking know. And the cellar people start making noise. So they go and they open the door, and Fool is standing there with the gun, like on the stairs,
Yep.
right?
As soon as Daddy opens the door, he's got a gun aimed right at him.
Right, but Daddy turns the stairs to the slide.
Yeah, he flips a switch on the wall,
Yeah,
and the stairs turn into a slide.
which he did do one time earlier
Yeah.
to get Leroy's
Yes,
body down
they-
there. So they didn't,
They bring it up early in the movie, so you know it's a thing.
right. And he gets the gun back and shoves Fool. I'm sorry. I can't read my own fucking writing.
Well, once Fool gets down there, he flips the switch again, turns it back into stairs, and as he's
Right.
walking down, Fool has already gotten up. So he's already got this plan because he's seen the dynamite at this point.
Yeah, but first, he shows Fool, Leroy, and Spencer's dead bodies. They're like floating in this like pool below the cellar. And at that point, there's a knock on the front door. And Mommy's like, "Oh, it could be the police. I better, And she's
Right.
she's like she's all fucked up. She just like holds a gun or something.
Yeah,
or
she's got a
knife
gun
or-
behind her
yeah,
back.
behind her back. Answers the front door, and it's Ruby, who confronts her as landlords. You know.
She just came there to tell them how fucked up it is that they're evicting her family.
Yeah, I
She's just-
represent these people. And
Right.
you've
She's just
wronged
giving her she's venting her frustrations at them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I represent, like, you own all these things and you don't care about people. And so Mommy shuts and locks the door. And Daddy's got a gun to Fool's head down in the cellar. And the people are making noise. And I guess it distracts him because Fool gets away. The front door goes off again. And you hear a man's voice shouting, "Hey, police, open up."
Yeah. It's Booker.
It's Booker and Ruby. They're saying there's been reports of gunfire, but he was like, "No, we'd like to continue the conversation. You've been stealing children,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah." And this is where a big crowd of people start to gather.
Yeah, but the lady, Mommy, she starts to drop the N-word again.
She
And
sure
before
does.
she can get it out,
She
then
sure
all
does.
these people just show up behind her.
Yeah. Again, this is like Nothing But Trouble, the end of that movie where the entire neighborhood shows up.
Yeah.
But Mommy goes to, Ruby's like, "What, are you going to shoot us all?" And she's like, "Nah, you'll do."
Yeah.
And she goes to shoot her, but then Alice falls through the ceiling
Right on top of her,
on top of her.
knocking her unconscious.
Yeah, downstairs in the cellar, Daddy's looking for Fool. And the people under the stairs, those people, grab Fool and like drag him inside like their cage to save him. Like, right, I think they've now realized he's actively trying to, like, he came back. Well, he is on their side.
They also have an out. You know what I mean? Like, keep him safe. He can get us out of here.
Maybe. Yeah.
Someone is helping us while we're helping them.
Well, Daddy's trying to get him, so obviously there must be a reason for that. So we should probably keep him safe. But Daddy follows, and they hide Fool. And then Booker's at the top of the stairs, so Daddy runs up the stairs. And Booker and Ruby are up there, and they slam the door shut and just hit him in the face.
Yep.
With the door.
Then he falls back down the stairs, drops the gun.
Yeah.
And now Fool has a plan here to distract Daddy.
Yeah, he tells...
Which is kind of clever.
Yeah, he tells the people under the stairs people, that the door outside was left open. And then... See, this is difficult because in my note, I had to write person. Because they don't have names.
Yeah, none of the people under the stairs have names. They're just... We watched it with captions. They're referred to as stair people.
Stair people.
One word.
Yeah, and stair person for singular.
Yeah.
So stair person points at these closed doors and that there's an alarm, right? So this is the vault, but it is an alarm. And Fool's like... Fool had never done anything remotely criminal. No,
but he learned from the best.
He did. Apparently, Leroy taught him how to disarm this particular
mentions,
kind of alarm.
I've learned from the best. He
says he can bridge the wires with a spare.
Yeah, he knew all the terminology, and
well, I mean, all that is just touching one wire to the other wire and then opening the door so that it stops the. It's obviously not a very high tech.
No, it's just connecting the circuit type shit. But yeah, he gets inside, and there is a not quite Scrooge McDuck level of treasure.
This is kind of like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is like Smaug's Hoard. You know, this is what this is. This is what's driving them crazy. They have dragon sickness because of this fucking money.
Like you said earlier, it's the gold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bills, it's coins, it's gold coins, it's
for some reason he's got a little science, like... cabinet over on the side with like different beakers and stuff for him.
Like it's a goddamn apothecary or some shit.
Yeah. So Alice and Ruby open the cellar door and call for Fool. They're like, Mommy's gone. And then Ruby goes outside to see, like out the front door, be like, hey, did you see her? To the people still gathered there. Yeah. Did you see her? Where'd she go? And the door shuts and Alice locks all the doors and then goes in the kitchen. And Mommy's put herself in timeout, it looks like. She's in the corner, and this is
she's grabbing
Mommy Dearest.
She's grabbing a knife out of the drawer. The most
stereotypical butcher knife, like big. It is what you think of.
Yeah, it's a horror movie butcher knife. Absolutely. It's not one you would actually use.
No.
It's one you would use in a horror movie to stab someone.
Yeah, and she gets Alice on the stairs. Like, she chases her back into, where the stairs are. And then the people under the stairs are under the stairs no more.
They are breaking through the stairs, grabbing.
Yeah, why didn't they do that in the first place?
Yeah, I know they could have.
Right, exactly.
These stairs are made of balsa wood. Get right out of here.
Absolutely.
They made short work of that fucking stairway for sure.
Yeah. Yes, and she's like, ah, and then she goes over by a wall, and they come through the wall, and she's like, ah, it's.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those like moments like in Freaked where it's like. Gabba Gabba one of us. That type of shit.
You mean Freaks?
Yeah, Freaks.
You said Freaked.
Yeah, whatever. Freaks.
So, yeah, they grab onto her and she runs into the kitchen. And Alice is there with the knife and Mommy just runs like right into it. Like Alice doesn't even stab her. She's standing there holding the knife out and Mommy runs into it.
So now she is... got a butcher knife sticking out of her abdomen.
She does. And the people under the stairs people, gather all around her and she looks at Alice and says, you hurt your mother. And Alice, of course, says, you're not my mother and you never were.
Then you burn in hell!
Oh my God. Yeah, Mommy takes the knife out and runs at Alice and the people take her down, man. She just goes under. That's it.
Yep, and then they toss her down the stairway into the cellar.
They do.
Where she dies.
Down there. And the people follow. And so Daddy's down there still looking for Fool. Fool's in the vault, and Daddy goes in. And the people, you can hear the people calling, Fool, like they're like letting him know that, you know, Daddy's on the way. And so Daddy gets in the vault and he hears these coins clinking every so often. And I thought that, I don't know where Fool got this idea, but I thought it was really kind of neat and clever.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's behind this box and Daddy, of course, thinks it's where he's like back here counting your money or whatever.
It's obscured. It's making noise to...
Every so often, there's clink. Because
you hear the clinking.
Clink, and there's these tapered candles that have all the gold coins like shoved into the sides and they're lit. So as the wax like
melts,
the coins drop out of the candles every so often. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I thought it was neat. I don't know where he got that idea.
I don't know why.
It would never work that way.
No.
Candles would have to be burning way faster than candles actually
and he had some like stuck towards the bottom of the candle, which would have been hours later that it even got down to that point. But yeah, it's still clever.
I liked it. It wasn't what you expected.
Clever.
Yes, it is. This is a cartoon movie, just live action cartoon.
You're right.
Yes. So, and Fool appears behind him and he's got the wires, right? He's, and don't you put the gun down or I'll connect these wires. You left dynamite back there. Weird place to leave it, gotta say. But, you know, so
yeah, because it's going to blow up your smell cord.
Yeah. So it's this whole, what's the fucking term? It's a whole standoff.
Mexican standoff.
Sure. Yeah. Put the gun down or get blown up, and Daddy goes to aim the gun, and, you know, Fool, true to his word,
connects the wires, jumps out of the way, explodes the house, and now there's money raining
all
down
over all the
neighborhood.
The poor people who came to, like, you know, confront the landlord and all of that.
There's Batman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, very much.
This happens in tons of movies.
Oh, and Prince is in this movie too.
Nice.
And then of course,
want you to be with me. Ding, ding. Anyway,
and then cue the music as everybody
fade to black, cue the rap song,
and the people under the stairs just, I guess, reintegrate with society because they just like come out and they're like joining the people
and after hearing this song too, I've now dubbed this genre.
Do the right thing.
Well, I've now dubbed this genre.
It
of
sounded
music
like they were saying "do the right." Were they saying that?
Yeah,
oh my god!
That's in the lyrics.
On. Yeah.
This is in credit rap song.
Yes,
that's the genre of this music.
Absolutely.
All of it sounds the same. I like it. I miss it being in movies.
When movies ended with a positive rap song.
Yes, like a very uplifting, positive rap song that's like. It's got the same beat you've heard a million times.
If you've seen the Addams Family, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, it's like the Addams Family.
MC Hammer.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
it's like the song. What was the song in Nothing But Trouble? All around the world.
All around the world.
It's that song.
Yeah,
it's the same song.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's the people under the stairs. Again, quality cinema, absolutely not. But I have a lot of nostalgia tied to this, like the way you do with Nothing But Trouble or whatever. This is my Nothing But Trouble. All right, I'll put it that way.
That's fair.
This is my Nothing But Trouble. I adore it. Does it make sense? No.
I think Nothing But Trouble is a little weirder. It's a little more strange. But this movie, like for
BDSM, mommy, daddy, brother, sister, stealing children, and cannibalism, and
it's definitely weird.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have. I think Bobo and Little Devil.
I think Baby Dick Nose is way weirder than Mom and Daddy.
Yeah, for sure. For all that this movie has, let's say, borrowed or got inspired by other ideas, it does still manage to kind of have its own identity.
I think it puts all that shit together. And okay, let's be honest. A lot of people find, and I'm not defending anybody, I'm just saying, a lot of people take inspiration from different things. It's what you take it from and how you combine it into something else that I find interesting. And I don't know of another movie even really like this.
Right.
There's elements of a lot of different shit in this, but it's put together in a way that...
Well, it's also good...
Again, I'm biased.
That, like...
So...
You know, like, how many different, like, horror movies out there are, like, centered around black families in a ghetto anyway? I mean, you got your Demon Knight. That was one of them.
You got Tales from
Candyman.
Candyman.
Tales from the Hood.
Killjoy.
Maybe it was Tales from the Hood I'm thinking of. Demon Knight was different.
Demon Knight. Yeah, that was in a hotel. Jada Pinkett she wasn't Smith yet.
All
Was
right.
in that.
So yeah, I mean, like this fits right in with that type of movie.
I like Tales from the Hood.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
But
Killjoy, not so much.
Killjoy, wasn't that another full moon release?
If not, it's very full moon adjacent.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But yeah, like I mentioned, it's stealing a lot of ideas here. It's using it, I guess.
At the end of the day, what did you think of it? Did you enjoy watching it at all?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it twice now, and I don't hate it, and I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite movie. It's one of those things where like a Nothing But Trouble, it's trying to be a horror movie, but it's not really horror.
No.
There are elements of horror in it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of lighthearted in a lot of ways because it does
It's
focus
funny.
on a child.
And there's all the Looney Tunes shit.
Yeah. And then you've got Daddy in his GIMP costume being gleeful and singing it. And it's very strange. You've
I
got to see
literally
it.
know
You
that
need to
guy
experience this to understand
From
it.
Twin Peaks and this movie, right? So like, I'm sure
Yeah.
he was in a bunch of other stuff too, but I think of him
He
as
looks
those
like he's
two
been in
people.
a lot of like Westerns.
He would play a good sheriff of a small old
Yeah.
West town.
And
or
maybe
something.
he's done other like TV shows.
But I
or-
just think it's funny that they are a couple in one way or another in both Twin Peaks and this. Very different
Yeah.
vibes. She has
but
a
that
eye
works
patch
too
in that
because
one.
like honestly, their chemistry is kind of good.
Oh, they've got great chemistry. They play off each other very well. I don't mean chemistry as in like I want to watch them.
right. I mean,
like,
as actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear they're very familiar and comfortable with each other. They trust each other when it comes to these insane roles that they have.
Yeah.
And yeah, they play off each other really well.
What do you think,
But,
Chuck?
yeah, what do you think, Chuck?
I'm not even sure she was in Twin Peaks.
She
'Cause
is.
It
I
absolutely is
picture
her.
another woman.
That is absolutely
That's her with the eye patch.
Yeah. That's her.
Yes.
And she's obsessed with the silent curtain runners. That's her for
You're gonna have to
100%
prove it
sure.
to me.
Look it up. You got a Google right there, my guy.
Yeah, I did. After Jess had mentioned that earlier in the podcast, I do remember watching like the behind the scenes bonus feature on the Blu-ray, and they mentioned that they are in Twin Peaks together
Yeah.
when they introduced the cast. It's like one of those HBO behind the scenes look at the movie things.
All right, I believe you.
Yeah, it's
Vindication.
absolutely. I get why it would be confused because she is wearing an eye patch, so it's a little weird. But
Yeah,
it's definitely her.
okay. I was just getting her mixed up with another woman.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of strange women in Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
And Ed isn't in love with her. He's in love with someone else. So
Yeah.
maybe that's who you're thinking of.
Who was the Asian lady?
Yeah.
What was her name in the show?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but there had
She's with the guy who was in Eraserhead too. Like not like with,
Right, yeah.
but like at the mill.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like her
I like him.
secretary or something, helper, caretaker.
She's like his.
what?
She's like his secretary.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Everett McGill.
Yeah. Yes. That's Daddy.
hmm
Yeah.
Ed.
Yeah.
From Twin
Ed
Peaks.
from Twin Peaks.
Yeah. I'd say if I had to give this a rating as far as just a movie goes, I'd give it props for originality. Oh wow.
All grown up.
Yeah, it's him.
Oh, look at him.
Is he-
Aw.
Yeah,
Fool's a grown ass man. I mean, I guess that's what happens.
yeah,
When you
it
let
does happen.
30 years pass.
Well, he was in Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. He was in a lot of things in like the early mid.
I've definitely recognized his face for
Yeah.
sure. It's his eyes and his
Sandlot.
teeth.
Sandlot, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was he in? Who was he in Sandlot?
He was the black kid.
What was his name?
I mean, there was one.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
That's him.
Yeah, look at
Absolutely.
him. Aw. Yeah.
But I guess just to wrap this up, like, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say it's a solid like 6. It's above average. It ain't great.
I can't look at it with unbiased eyes. I saw it when it was new.
If you grew up with this
So-
movie, then you're definitely going to have more love for it
Yeah.
than if you're watching it as an adult.
I've seen this movie well over a dozen times,
It's-
at least.
It's not boring.
No.
I can give it that. Like, it definitely keeps you engaged. There's enough going on that the plot moves along pretty well. The characters in it, they do come together and help each other. Some are likable, some are not.
I just like the ridiculousness of it and that it doesn't care.
I could do without the mommy character. I know she has to be there, but I just don't
she's
like her.
well, you're not supposed to.
Right, but
You're like,
I don't like her in Twin Peaks either.
well, she does a good job then.
Like-
You're not supposed to like her there either.
And she's kind of playing the same character in Twin Peaks, just with an eye patch.
A little more unhinged, yeah.
Yeah.
More so.
But yeah, I give it
flavor of
a
unhinged.
solid 6 to a 6.5.
Okay.
What do you? You're gonna give it like an 8?
No, I don't know. It's a part of my childhood.
Yeah,
Like, how do you rate nostalgia fairly? You can't.
I do it all the time.
It makes me think of Friday movie nights with my dad.
Yeah,
So, I felt
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Chucky, you got anything to say about?
I agree.
Watch
It's a
it.
6. I mean, except for Daddy. Daddy's like a 10.
He's a pretty good
I'm
character.
gonna kill you. I tried to pull back a little bit from the mic when I did it.
Oh, you're good.
No, you're fine. The Mew came over and she was like, she's under the desk right now.
I know.
She's like,
I've
what
been
the
petting
fuck
her
is
for
she
the past
now?
few.
You already had your episode.
Yeah, she ever since her episode,
she's
coming
been
over.
begging to be on the show again.
Mew.
But yeah, I guess we can call that an episode.
Yeah.
Where could people find you, Jess?
Me. I'm JHL Moon on Instagram. Don't bother looking for me anywhere else except if you want to go to shadowsparkpub.com, my publishing house. I've got books there. I've got a lot of authors there who also have books there. There's another podcast that I'm on occasionally, the Shadow Spark podcast. We have a page on the website for that too. But I do have a Twitter, but I'm not on it and I can't access it since I got a new phone. So don't fucking bother. Thank you.
You can find Chucky in Daddy's basement.
Willingly.
Do you want to plug anything? You want to tell them where you're at?
The woods.
The woods. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you plugging that, or is that where you are?
It's where
Both?
I am.
Okay.
I'm in the woods.
Go into the woods if the light is right and the moon is full. And you, how would you summon Chucky in the woods? What would you
I
need?
don't know. I usually just jingle a bag of beef jerky, and that does it.
Jingle?
Yeah. You can find me. I'm out there on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm at Chad J. Moon. The podcast has an Instagram account at _pretty_little_podcast. To be honest, you could just search for the Pretty Little Podcast. It'll
With
come
an
up.
exclamation point if you search it. Otherwise, you'll get that Pretty Little Liars one, which is definitely not us. You'll know if it's us.
Oh, yeah. If they're talking about Pretty Little Liars, that ain't this.
Yeah.
And then we have a YouTube channel for the podcast. You can find that at youtube.com/@theprettylittlepodcast 69420.
And yeah, check out the Instagram, dude, because like Chad makes a lot of shit. Like you just did a post about the YouTube episode that you and I did, like tagging everybody we
Yeah.
talked about. Like
I
he makes all this shit from scratch.
I try to go
it's
all
cool.
out with the thumbnails,
It's
just
cool.
trying to get eyes on it. Maybe they'll click on it, think, "Hey, I want to see this."
Yeah.
I've got the little eyeball character that I'm using. And all the
Yeah,
shit.
I like
And
him.
I changed
So-
the thumbnail for the podcast to be a little more dynamic and
It's awesome.
eye catching.
So yeah, have y'all seen this movie? What'd you think? Am I wrong? I'm not, but argue with me.
Go
Start
watch
some
it.
shit.
You're not gonna hate it. You're not gonna hate the time you spent watching it.
No, I think it's fun.
fine.
Yeah. Come find us. Interact.
All right, like, comment, and subscribe if you would, please. It helps us out tremendously.
Absolutely.
And with that, until we see you next time,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.